Boy, it's great to have football back, isn't it?
It definitely is. A little bit crazy. I mean, obviously, for the camera on the field, you saw the West Side logo. None of us really expected to be here at the beginning of the season, but it's good to be here, and it's even better to be calling prep football because they've already had a season for the ages, and they've only played 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. So now they match up with a much more evenly matched opponent in Millard West. These two teams both 1-2 to start the season. Prep ranked number 8, Millard West number 6. Creighton Prep has played 2 top 5 opponents to start the season. Millard West has played 3 top 10 opponents to start the season. Prep 1-2. Millard West also 1-2. Prep lost their first game here at Westside by a final of 42-0. Then they went to Papillion La Vista, won 21-16, then got quarantined because of the positive test, wiping out their game against second-ranked Bellevue West. And then they come back, lose in a near comeback against Lincoln Southeast, the 5th-ranked team, last week.
Yeah, Prep's had a bit of a rough season. Actually kind of started off with a quarterback controversy. Transfer Parker Lizzie, sophomore, nearly beat out senior Sam Meisenberg for the starting job, but in the first game, both quarterbacks struggled, but Meisenberg has really proven himself, and Lizzie hasn't taken another snap since then.
Yeah, absolutely. So you see the roller coaster that Prep has had to start this season. First of all, prior to the season start, their starting running back from last year, Vinny Casiopo, suffers a dislocated elbow. He's been out ever since, hasn't played yet to start the season. Then I mentioned the Westside game, a 42-0 loss to their rival. Then they go to Papio, get the win there. So Prep fans feeling good. Then the night after that, positive COVID test, 10 days off for the Prep team, no game against Bellevue West. Then they go down 21-0 to come back against Lincoln Southeast. But a near comeback to get it to 24-21. So Prep fans feeling pretty good, but this is a big step for Creighton Prep with a much easier schedule coming up in October with this game tonight.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in one of my season previews, but Prep ran the gauntlet to start this year so far. In kind of a reversal of last year's schedule. Last year, they finished the year off with a whole bunch of top 10 opponents, but this year, they get them out of the way early.
All right, National Anthem, Star Spangled Banner. We'll be back when it's over. All right, back at Phelps Field, 4 minutes remaining until kickoff here at Westside between Creighton Prep and Millard West. We were talking about Creighton Prep's long road to get to this Week 5 game before the Star Spangled Banner. So after, we'll talk about Millard West's road as Creighton Prep gets prepared to take the field.
Yeah,
Millard West has played 3 top 10 teams to this point. They've lost to number 4 Elkhorn South on a last-second field goal. Then they beat number 10 Millard North. And then a hard loss to the potent rushing game of third-ranked Millard South 2 weeks ago.
A little bit of irony there because Millard West, one of those triple option teams that can always be so difficult to stop for a defense, they got gashed by Millard South last week. 3 different Millard South players rushed for over 50 yards in that game. But they might have an easier time of it against Prep. As you mentioned, Vinny Casiopo, starter from last year, he's out. He's in uniform tonight, but we're still not sure if he's going to play. And Prep still hasn't found a suitable replacement for him so far. No back has gone over 50 yards in a single game.
Well, here comes Prep out onto the field for the first time at home, though looking very different. First of all, of course, playing at Westside tonight, and then second of all, wearing black jerseys and blue pants. We didn't see that at all last year, but a new look for Creighton Prep. A lot to be excited about. Millard West getting set to take the field on the other side.
And Prep going over to the birdcage for the first time this season. Prep will have fans in the stands. It is just seniors, appropriate as it is senior night. But they want to send their guys out with a win. And there are a lot of talented seniors on this Prep team, aren't there, Tyler?
Absolutely. The key players with this game, when you look at Creighton Prep, they're all seniors. Quarterback, Sam Meisenberg, he's really picked things up as the season has gone along. 3 touchdown passes last week in the close loss to Lincoln Southeast. And then you have the wide receiver and cornerback, Alex Bullock, who had 126 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in the game last week. He's firmly established himself as really the MVP of this team through the first month. And then A.J. Rollins, the Husker commit at tight end and defensive lineman, off to a bit of a slow start to this season.
Yeah.
Prep hasn't been able to get the ball to him much, but 2 receiving touchdowns in his last 2 games. So he's starting to heat up, and we'll see if they can get the ball to him some more tonight.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about what Prep could do to maybe get back on track after that tough loss to Lincoln Southeast, and we did mention the passing game. A.J. Rollins, one of those guys who hasn't really stepped it up so far this season yet, committed to Nebraska to play football, as you mentioned, but he's a very talented player at football and basketball, and if he's able to make some plays tonight, then Prep should be able to get the game.
Yep, and then on the other side, Millard West, they have a 3-headed monster with their rushing attack, starting with the quarterback, Jacob Jones. He's a dual-threat guy. And then the running backs, Chase Holtman had a 93-yard touchdown run a couple weeks ago against Millard South. And then their number 1 running back is number 21, Nathan Peterson. He had 3 rushing touchdowns opening night, 2 rushing touchdowns in week 2, and then had a long receiving touchdown in the game against Millard South. So they can really run the ball on you. And Jacob Jones has proven that he can throw it well, too.
And you can see the stats on the screen right now. Very balanced offense so far this year from Millard West. They can hit you with the run or the pass. Obviously, they prefer the run with that triple option that they've got going. And it's going to be interesting to see what Prep can do to stop that, because we've seen Prep struggle against talented running backs. Avante Dickerson week 1 against Westside. Week 2 they won, and then week 3, or technically week 4 against Lincoln Southeast, they also struggled to defend the run. And they had a chance to actually maybe even take the lead against Lincoln Southeast, but they got fooled on a fake punt jump pass, and even then, the play still wasn't over. I believe the receiver of the pass fumbled the ball at the end of the play, and it went out of bounds, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah. So Prep looking to avoid situations like that this game, but this is a pretty even match. Both teams are talented. Both teams also have a little bit of weaknesses. But this should be a fun game, and we're glad to be calling it for you.
Absolutely. So Prep won the toss. They elected to defer. So Millard West will get the football first, and the Creighton Prep home opener will kick off with Pat Foley kicking off from his own 40-yard line.
Mm-hmm. One of the seniors on this team, he and Alex Bullock both played big roles last year at Prep's 4-0 start. Foley hit a couple clutch field goals, and Bullock, even last year, as a junior, was already getting some game-saving interceptions.
All right, still waiting for Creighton Prep special teams unit to take the field. Millard West already out there. Back deep for the Wildcats. They have Caden Williams, who is their regular punt returner. He's returned some kicks as well. And then number 21, Nathan Peterson. We mentioned him in the pregame as that big-name running back. He's to the near side for the kick return, and Pat Foley will get set to kick it away. 48 minutes of Creighton Prep home football at Westside.
Still weird to say.
Absolutely, but I'm just glad we got a game to call, and I'm just glad we got football back with Prep in the home uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting here for the kickoff. Bit of a delay.
Yep. Foley, one of the best kickers in the state, for sure, and maybe even in the nation in this senior class. He's got a leg on him, and we'll see how far he can kick this opener. But one thing that would help Prep a lot, get some offensive tendency or consistency going, is if they could just get into Foley's field goal range, which is quite considerable for a high school kicker. They should be able to put a lot of points up just from Foley's leg alone.
All right, Foley steps back to his 30, and here we go. He will put the pigskin in the air, And Creighton Prep and Millard West will get underway on this September night. Kick high in the air, taken from the goal line. Here comes Caden Williams up the right side, out across the 15, 20-yard line. Good cutback, able to shake free of a tackler, and Williams on the opening kick return is all the way out to the 38-yard line before Foley has to wrestle him to the ground there. So that will bring out the Millard West offense, led by the dual threat quarterback, Jacob Jones, number 18. He started in week 1 and in week 3, but did not play in week 2 due to a knee injury. But the numbers for Jones, especially last week in the game against Millard South, or rather 2 weeks ago, were great. 260 passing yards and a passing touchdown, 61 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, and you can see him right there, number 18. Pretty tall player, good at passing, good at running, and Prep's going to have to key in on him if they want to win this game.
Start with a handoff. This is Nathan Peterson on the opening play, and that gets about a yard to the 39-yard line. So Peterson looking to pick up where he's left off to start the season. His last game only saw him pick up 20 yards on the ground against that tough Millard South defense, but I'd expect Millard West to definitely feed him a lot tonight, knowing how productive he's been.
And the nice thing about having guys like Jones and Peterson in your backfield is that the defense has to pick their poison. If they defend Jones, then Peterson can take off, and vice versa. So Prep's going to have to be very smart at getting penetration.
Peterson again on second down, and again the Prep defense stout up front, gain of only a few there, taking Millard West out to the 42, so an early 3rd and 6 coming up for the Wildcats. And this Prep rushing defense, which you mentioned at the start, has struggled historically, carrying back to last year, off to a good start tonight.
And this puts Millard West in a passing situation, which isn't really their bread and butter, but you mentioned that Jones can throw the ball in the game preview, so we'll have to see what Millard West draws up on this 3rd down.
They're 8 for 40, 20% this year on 3rd downs. Play fake. Jones on the move to his right, falling backwards. Deep shot down the field. It's broken up and incomplete. In there to make the play was Jonah Moore, the junior, and an early 3 and out for Millard West. Good start for Creighton Prep defensively tonight.
And a great play there by number 66 for the Prep defense. Got some nice penetration in there on the D-line, forced Jones to scramble, and forced the 3 and out.
So on to punt now. Millard West after this 3 and out. Back deep for Prep is Alex Bullock. He's been a factor on offense and defense, and we'll see what he can do on special teams. Long run to the right here prior to this punt. As
there's a flag down.
Jackson Newman gets a nice roll there all the way down inside the 20.
There's a flag down.
Down at the 17. We do have a flag. It's at the 37 of Prep, so we'll check that.
Looked at might be some illegal blocking there at about the 30-yard line. But Bullock, smart to not kick to him. He made some noise in the return game against Papio back in week 2. He started off one of Prep's touchdown drives with a really long return.
Yeah, so it looked like a personal foul against Creighton Prep there. We'll get the signal again here from the official, it looks like. 10:26 to play in the opening quarter. Let's see what they put the football here as Creighton Prep's offense takes the field, led by Sam Meisenberg. And going into the season, there was some controversy as to who the starting quarterback would be between the senior Meisenberg and the sophomore transfer from Elkhorn South, Parker Lizzie. They both played in week 1. Meisenberg was far better, even with the shutout loss. He's taken over as the starter full-time ever since, and he's been pretty great, I would say.
Yeah, and definitely he'll be able to use this quick stop from the Prep defense. Still 10:26 to go in the opening quarter.
All right, Prep starts at their own 9-yard line. 3 men in the backfield here on 1st down, and now a whistle prior to the snap.
Looks like an offsides from the way the birdcage is celebrating.
And you are correct. Offsides against Millard West, so Prep gets some of that penalty yardage on the punt back. And they will have it 1st and 5 at their own 14. And I think Prep needs that kind of penalty. Get off to a good start. They were really slow starting, especially on offense last week. 1st and 5. Handoff up the middle. And that's a good run there. Physical run out across the 20-yard line. Taking it to the 21 on the play is Stessman, I believe. Yep, Jack Stessman gets the 1st down for Creighton Prep, so an early move of the chain. Stessman with a nice, powerful run.
And Stessman could have been a much bigger part of the Prep offense last year. First game of last year, which I believe I was on the call for, he was the lead running back for their second drive and ended up tearing his ACL. But he's back now. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year, giving Prep another weapon in that run game.
Well, we got another flag. This is the third one already. Let's see who this one is on. There was a man in motion for Prep, and the flag was thrown, and it is a false start, it would appear. So 1st and 15 now, back at the 16 for Creighton Prep.
And that's one of those things that Prep has to avoid. You mentioned how penalties could help them get the offense going, but a false start does exactly the opposite of that. Gets the offense going in the wrong direction. And we've talked before about how Prep needs to get some consistency going by not getting themselves into 3rd and long situations, so hopefully they can avoid that here.
Screen pass here. They get it in the hands of A.J. Rollins right away, and he's on the loose out across the 30, and he gets that first down right back for Prep. So I mentioned at the top that Rollins had not been used a whole lot. There you go, 17-yard pitch and catch. Meisenberg to his big tight end, 17 yards and a first down.
Excellently drawn play call there by Prep. They got Rollins out in space, some good blocking on the edge by the receivers on that side, and Rollins was just able to make some moves. Kind of looked like Randy Moss running in the open field out there.
Yep, Rollins, I mentioned at the top, committed to Nebraska at tight end and defensive end.
He split out wide this play.
But it's a handoff up the middle, and wiggling for a couple yards there is the running back, Jack Stessman. Stessman has been barely the number one guy for this Creighton Prep running back team. It's been a running back by committee for Prep, but Stessman has 14 carries, 25 yards on the season. He missed the Papillion La Vista game with an injury, but he's back now, off to a pretty good start in this game.
Yeah. He missed big chunks of both his freshman and sophomore years with injuries, so Prep is hoping that this year he can stay healthy and play in a majority of their games.
Meisenberg, look out. Down he goes back at the 30-yard line. It was a rollout play, but he got blown up in the backfield by Nick Weegent, the defensive end, and that's a sack back at the 30-yard line. Prep forced into an early 3rd and long.
Yeah, and that play is just tough. If the defense gets penetration like that, especially on a play where the quarterback's rolling out of the pocket and basically unprotected, there's nothing an offense can do about that. Meisenberg just had to take the sack and hold on to the ball.
Prep on 3rd down this year, 12 for 42. That's 28.5%.
They've got 5 wide with Rollins split out. Look for a deep route to him.
3rd and 13. Millard West showing some pressure. They nearly jumped. Meisenberg making some changes at the line of scrimmage. Millard West still showing that pressure. And there's a flag. Big cheer from the Wildcat crowd right in front of us. And it's a timeout called for by Creighton Prep. I think the play clock was running down. That's why the flag was there, but Prep got the timeout off before the delay of game.
And this could be a crucial scenario for the game, even though there's still 8 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Prep facing a 3rd down and long, which, as I mentioned earlier, has been basically their offensive kryptonite so far this season. But after forcing a stop, if the offense can get some momentum going and push the ball across midfield, that should set the tone for a good game for Prep.
Yep, they'll have it 3rd and 13 at their own 30. 8 minutes to play in this first quarter. Scoreless so far. If you're just joining us, Millard West got the football first. They started off of a good kick return at their own 38-yard line, but a quick 3 and out gave the ball to Prep. They started at their own 9. A few penalties to open up the drive, and here they are with 3rd and 13 at their own 30.
Yeah, an interesting decision by Prep to not snap the ball. I suppose they saw the pressure coming from Millard West and were worried they didn't have enough protection because, as I mentioned, A.J. Rollins split out wide. He still is split out wide, it looks like, on this play. And it could be interesting to see if they would throw a jump ball over the top to him, especially if he's matched up against a much smaller cornerback.
Yep, empty backfield again for Meisenberg. 3rd and 13. Millard West showing pressure once more. Meisenberg looking to throw. In trouble. Down he goes again. He got the football out, but it's not going to make a difference as it falls short of A.J. Rollins. Officially, it's an incomplete pass, but nonetheless, it is a 4th down coming up for Creighton Prep.
And an excellent defensive play there by Millard West. They showed pressure up the middle like they were doing before the timeout, but they brought it back and still got pressure on Meisenberg with only 4 rushers. Just a great loop rush there by the defensive end to get around and force Meisenberg into the incompletion.
Pat Foley, the top-ranked punter and kicker in Nebraska, on the punt here. 1 man back deep for Millard West. That's Caden Williams. Pressure is brought. They nearly get to him. Sky-high kick will be fair caught at the 33. Oh! Ball's on the ground. Who's got it? Who's got the ball? It looked like Williams was able to fall on it. So a dangerous play there.
Yeah.
Williams had all the time in the world to get under that and make the fair catch, but as soon as he caught it, there was a defender right in his face and dropped the ball.
Prep with great coverage on that punt, and a nice punt by Foley. He looked like he went down after some contact after the punt, but no flag was thrown. So now Millard West starts up again, and they're looking to get some more run game going early. Peterson had the first 2 carries of the game for him, but couldn't get very far. They're hoping for something different on this drive.
Split backfield again on first down. This is an option. Pitch out right side. This is Chase Holtman across the 35, and he's able to pick up about 3 or 4 yards. Holtman had the longest play of Millard West season when he scored from 93 yards out on a long touchdown run against Millard North in Week 2. He's part of that 3-headed monster with the rushing attack. With Millard West, he picks up 4 yards there.
And a good diagnosis of the speed option out right there by Prep. They sent 2 guys after the quarterback, and after he pitched the ball, one of them broke off and went for the running back. That's a great play by Prep. If they can continue to make those, they should get a lot of stops.
2nd and 6. Running up the middle this time. It is Holtman again, and this time he is swarmed in the backfield for a loss of 1. So a nice job again, right up the gut from the Creighton Prep defense, setting up a 3rd and 7. Just under 7 minutes to play in this first quarter. Scoreless so far between 6th-ranked Millard West and 8th-ranked Creighton Prep.
Tony Melidi, one of the Prep seniors on that defense, made some nice penetration there and brought him down for a loss. Sets up 3rd and about 7. And another passing situation for Millard West. Let's see how it works.
They failed on their first 3rd down, Millard West did. 3rd and 7 again. Play fake. Jones with pressure from his left. He's trying to take off. He's not going to get anywhere near that first down as he's wrestled out of bounds at the 40. And the Creighton Prep defense early on, they do it again as Rollins was over there along with William Sainstock, able to chase him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. 4th and 3 coming up.
Prep's done a really good job of getting penetration so far on the plays where they need to. You saw Rollins break through. There was a lot of pressure coming again for Jones, so he had to scramble. And Prep makes another good stop with 6:21 to go in the first quarter, and Millard West will punt for the 2nd time. I don't know about you, but I'm pleasantly surprised with how well the defense has been playing so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Back-to-back 3-and-outs forced to start. So Jackson Newman will move to his right again prior to the punt, gets it away. It is going to bounce at the 28 and get a friendly bounce for the Wildcats. Trickling to a stop at the 24-yard line, so that's where Creighton Prep will begin the 2nd drive. First drive saw a bunch of penalties, a bunch of pre-snap penalties, false starts, offsides, timeouts. Prep picked up 1 first down out of the drive. What did you make of that first drive, Brendan, and what do you think they can improve on here?
Well, it looked like it was going pretty well until the penalties and the sacks. So hopefully if the Prep offensive line can do their jobs, then Prep should have a nice long drive to come out of this, especially with the way that Rollins was working in the open field on that screen pass. He's out split again.
Empty backfield. Meisenberg dropped the snap. Uh-oh, the ball's out on the ground. Rolling at the 15. They call it an incomplete pass. Oh, boy, we've seen that in the NFL before where the quarterback gets hit on the release. They call it an incompletion when it could have been a fumble, but incompletion there, 2nd and 10 coming
James
up.
Conway, senior middle linebacker for Millard West there, coming in to make the play. And Prep has struggled with that rush on passing plays so far. Meisenberg, lucky that wasn't called a fumble, but he never even saw the blitz coming.
So here comes 2nd and 10. The backfield empty again for Meisenberg. A lot of movement on that Millard West defense. They bring pressure, low snap again, and a nice spin move there. It's actually Alex Bullock with the football here as he takes it to the 30-yard line. So Prep trying to get it into the hands of their playmakers. Gain of 6 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 4 from the 30.
Yeah, Bullock definitely one of the offensive stars. Get the ball to Prep's got to get the ball to him any way they can, and a little unconventional there, but he made it a 3rd and 5, which is very manageable for this Prep offense. Empty backfield again, though. Let's see how they deal with pressure.
3rd and 4. Juggled snap, quick pass, too tall for Thomas Lydon, couldn't haul it in. There was a defender breathing down his neck at the 35, and it's another 3 and out as Creighton Prep unable to get a first down out of that drive.
And that drive just Prep unable to capitalize on some opportunities. Obviously, the first play, a near fumble for 6 for Millard West. And then the second play, good run, but third play, really nothing you can do about a good defensive play drawn up by Millard West. Even if Lydon had caught that ball, there's still no guarantee he would have gotten the first down. So the defense is playing very well so far today.
Pat Foley to Caden Williams. Fair catch. Let's see if he holds on to this one. That he does at the 34. So with 5:29 to play in the first quarter, Millard West will begin their third drive of the evening with the game still scoreless.
And Prep doing a great job covering punts so far. The guy right in the punt returner's face at the end of the play right there, Jack Fransel, the long snapper. So Prep definitely coming to play tonight, wanting to get their seniors their first home win.
Yeah, and that free rusher down the field for Creighton Prep you mentioned with Fransel, that also had a lot to do with Millard West putting all of their guys except the punt returner on the line of scrimmage. So early on, and so far as we've seen from the defense versus offense standpoint, it's worked.
Yep. Triple option formation again for Millard West.
Split backfield. They're going to go to the outside. Jones with a little jump pass off his back foot. He's on target inside the 40, and Alex Bullock has to wrestle Noah Rookstool to the ground, so a big play, and what a throw. But there is a flag down back at the 38.
Oh.
An eligible man downfield, it looks like.
And that's one of those plays that you can't afford to mess up if you're Millard West. An incredibly drawn-up play. Everybody in the building was thinking triple option. Well, at least I was. I can't speak for everybody in the building. But that looked like a run play all the way. And then Jones stepped back and delivered a perfect ball to his receiver downfield. And if you're Millard West, you can't have plays like that taken away by penalties, because that's one of the ways that you're going to be able to beat Prep, is if you get those big plays that Prep's not expecting. Prep very fortunate for that ineligible man downfield.
Yeah, penalties adding up early on here. 1st and 20 now back at the 29, or 1st and 15. Here's Jones straight ahead, and he barrels his way across the 40, taking it all the way to the 43. That's a gain of 14 yards, and Millard West gets almost all the penalty yardage right back. They'll have 2nd and 1 from the 43.
And Jones has some speed, but he's also pretty good at running people over when he needs to. Ran almost through the tackle there to save a first down. 2nd and 1, and now Millard West can go back to their bread and butter, the Peterson and Jones option play. And they're running it well so far when they get blocking.
So here's 2nd and 1, 4:35 to go in the opening quarter. Hand it off, straight ahead, nice juke move. Peterson's got the first down as he takes it across the 45 and to the 46. So a gain of 2 or 3 yards on the play there, and it's another Millard West first down.
Prep getting some good penetration there, but there's nothing you can really do when a back as talented as Peterson makes a move in the open field. You mentioned it while it was happening, but on a play that against maybe a normal running back would have been blown up for no gain, he manages to get the first down and a few yards extra.
A lot of movement here from Millard West pre-snap. Now everybody's lined up. 1st and 10 at their own 46. Another run. This time Jones keeps it, trying to get the outside. A nice stiff arm, but Bullock is able to bring him to the ground out of bounds. That is force against force right there at the sideline. Gain of only a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
Millard West desperate for a penalty there, but that's now 2 plays in a row that we've seen just the strength of Millard West's rush attack. But Prep has so far come to meet the challenge, and they've done it quite well with 3:53 to go in the first quarter. And the Prep defense being able to stop the run is the biggest reason this game's scoreless right now.
So it'll be 2nd and 9. Millard West at their own 47-yard line. Neither team has moved the ball across midfield just yet. Millard West just 3 yards shy of the 50, though. Jones off a play fake, moving right, little pitch out, look out there, but Holtman's got it, and he's able to take it across midfield. Interesting play design there, kind of turned into a broken play, but it's a gain of 5 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 4 from the Prep 48.
Looks a little bit like a quadruple option there for Millard West, or maybe some sort of an RPO, and that might be one of those things that makes Peterson so dangerous, is he's smart enough to know what to do on those plays. If the Prep defense comes up, he can throw the ball. If they stand back, then he can either keep the ball himself or pitch it out to his running back. Good play for Millard West there. Lucky for Prep that it only got them 3 or 4 yards.
3rd and 4. Millard West is 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions so far tonight. And a flag just as the ball was being snapped. And offsides against Creighton Prep is going to give Millard West a free first down. So penalties continue to add up. Both of these teams have had 2-week layoffs. Prep with the COVID-19 positive test, they were out for 2 weeks between the Papio game and the Lincoln Southeast game. Meanwhile, Millard West has not played in 2 weeks since their loss on September 11th to Millard South. So maybe, a lack of discipline, a lack of playing experience over the past few weeks starting to result in some penalties here.
And for Prep, this is one of their first games with a lot of fans in the stands, so that might be making them a little jumpy too.
1st and 10 at the 43. Jones to his right off a play fake. Going to air it out deep downfield. He's got an open man. It's tipped and incomplete at the last second. Great defensive play made there in the end zone. And it'll be 2nd and 10. Saving his touchdown there. It looked like it was number 24, Michael Barrett.
And Prep doing another good job getting penetration. Joey Glogowski, another senior on that defensive line, nearly got Jones, for a loss in the backfield there. So Prep continuing to get good penetration on the pass plays, but they got to stop those little incremental gains on the run that are helping get Millard West first downs.
2nd and 10 at the 43-yard line. 3:33 to play in the first quarter. Jones will keep it himself inside the 40 before he is pushed out of bounds on the sideline there. It'll be 3rd and about 6 as Max Cobbs, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Millard West faced with another 3rd down here. It'll be 3rd and about 7 from the 40.
And one thing you definitely don't want to do if you're either team here is call some yelp.
Refs have been busy.
They certainly have, but the Prep defense has also been busy. Let's see if they can make a stop here.
3rd and 7. Jones has made some good throws so far. Going to have to try and make another one here. Pressure from his left.
That's a hold.
Getting out of the pocket. Able to sidestep one. He's got the first down. What a play by Jones, and he's still dragging defenders down to the 25-yard line. So it's a gain of 15 on 3rd down, and Millard West now at the Prep 25 on the quarterback run. Great play there.
And that's just incredible football IQ there by Jacob Jones. Nearly went down, somehow had the presence of mind to not only get out of it, but stay looking downfield and see whether he should pass or run. And I'd argue that he made a perfect decision.
1st and 10 at the 25. Peterson is the running back. And Jones will take it himself. Trying to take a defender right on. Look at the power from the Millard West quarterback. That's a gain of about 6.
And the ball might have come out there. We saw Bullock for just a second agitating that the ball was in the hands of a Prep player, but looks like Millard West retains possession. And Jacob Jones definitely not afraid of this Prep defense.
Yeah, he's taking him head on. Both. Yeah, he's taking them head on physically for sure. 2nd and 5 with 2.5 to play in this first quarter. Millard West has entered the red zone. They are at the Prep 20-yard line, split backfield. This is Peterson trying to wiggle through, and he's only able to get a couple down to the 18. So another 3rd down coming up for Millard West. They're getting their reps on 3rd down tonight. They'll have 3rd and 3 here.
A nice tackle there from Millard, one of the seniors, was able to wrap up Peterson there and make sure he didn't get too far. So 3rd down and 4 as we reach under 2 minutes in the first quarter of what's been a very exciting football game so far. And what's Millard West going to do is the question.
Still no score yet, but Millard West knocking on the door. Prep trying to get a stop here and limit the damage to a field goal.
I'd watch for another one of those run-pass options here with Jones. He's very good at those.
Split backfield, 3rd and 4. Handoff up the middle this time, and I don't think they got enough for the first down as Prep's defense shows up strong right in the middle as it was Chase Holtman on the carry for a gain of maybe 1. So now decision time on 4th down.
And it certainly looks as though they're staying out there. Millard West definitely not playing conservatively tonight, especially after the way Prep's defense played on the first couple of possessions. If they're going to get a score, they're going to get 7.
Millard West is 5 for 10 this year on 3rd downs. They went for 5 of them in their last game against Millard South. This is Jones taking it himself, spinning his way for the first down. Another tremendous effort to get a conversion from the Millard West quarterback. And it's 1st and 10 at the 13 on an excellent gain of 4 yards.
Yeah, Jacob Jones has just been playing out of his mind on this drive so far. He took what Prep did well on defense in the second half, and he's just been picking them apart so far in the run game on this 3rd drive.
So now 1st and 10 at the 13. Jacob Jones showing off his full skill set as a dual threat quarterback tonight. He's going to try and take off again here. Looks like a design run. Flag flies right near where he went down at the 10. So yet another penalty will be called.
And it's a hold.
Yep, holding. First time we've called that one out tonight.
That could be huge for the Prep defense, too, because instead of it being a 2nd and 7, it now goes back to 1st and 20, and Millard West run offense might have a slightly more difficult time making up that yardage.
Yeah, we already saw Millard West get a first down after being forced into a 1st and 15 situation to start the drive. They did it by way of their quarterback, Jacob Jones. They've done basically everything to move the ball down this field by way of their quarterback, running the football mostly. But we'll see what they go with on 1st and 15.
1st and 20.
1st and 20. Clock running, under 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. About 8 yards on the play. It's going to set up another 3rd down for Millard West. They'll need to get 5 yards on this upcoming play. But again, Wildcat offense revolving around their dual threat quarterback, particularly his legs and the power he runs with.
3rd down and 5 here with about 9 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second quarter. Another triple option backfield look for Millard West.
This time they hand it up the middle. Peterson's nowhere near the first down. So once again, the Creighton Prep defense in the trenches able to make the play. Going to be 4th and 2, and it is going to be a punt for Millard West. So under 9 minutes to play now until the halftime break. Still no score as this feeling out process continues between these two top 10 teams.
Prep done very well at stopping those runs up the middle by Peterson.
So here comes the punt from Jackson Newman. Back deep is Alex Bullock. Newman to his right again, and it looked like he didn't get all of that one at all. Going to bounce just inside the Prep 40 and be down close to the 39. So Creighton Prep will have pretty good starting field position to open up this drive. Still no score, 8:20 to go in the first half. What have you seen from this Creighton Prep offense so far, Brendan, and what do you think needs to change for them to get things going and get a lead?
Well, one thing that I really liked was that split-out screen to Rollins on the first drive. That looked really good, and Rollins nearly got the first down by himself. So I think Prep needs to go back to their stars, Bullock and Rollins. If they get them going, then they're going to have a nice time this game.
Well, they give it to Max Sanders for the first time to open up this drive, and it picks up around 5.5. So it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 43 with 8 minutes to go in the first half.
A little bit of trickery there by Prep, going with a fullback dive up the middle, but it works. And they cut the yardage in half. And I hope Prep starts using the mismatches they've got pretty soon, because they've got Rollins and Bullock both one-on-one out on the sidelines.
2nd and 5. This is a toss. Nice cut by Stessman to get going north-south. And he's tackled at the 47-yard line, setting up a 3rd and manageable. It'll be 3rd and 1 from the 47.
And this is another crucial play for the Prep offense. 7:30 to go in this first half, still scoreless. But if they can make a play here, that would be huge for the rest of the game.
3rd and 1. Prep really trying to establish the run game to start this drive, and looks like they'll try to go back to it here. Fullback Max Sanders is in the game in front of running back Jack Stessman. Sanders straight ahead, plowing his way right at the line to gain.
I don't think he got it.
It depends all on the spot. Officials marching toward the football here, and I don't think he got it.
Oh, no, he did not.
Yeah, you're right on with that.
It's about the length of the football to go. And it looks like Prep is going to have a tough decision to make.
And they're going to leave the offense out on the field for now.
Tried another Sanders run up the middle. That time Millard West was able to diagnose it. And for this one, you just got to get a big push up front. There's no need to do anything fancy here. Just go straight ahead and get the first.
Prep 1 for 2 on 4th downs this year. Nearly a jump from Millard West. Now Meisenberg backs out for a moment.
Crowd getting loud, and there's a timeout called.
At Millard West parent and family section right in front of us here at the press box at Phelps Field, and they were making a whole lot of noise, and Prep forced to take a timeout and they will reconsider this 4th and 1 decision.
I mean, this is really a decision that you can't overthink. If you're going to go for it, you just have to go with the simple things. Just a run up the middle, whether it be Meisenberg or Stessman or Sanders. You just need a simple run up the middle, especially if you get a good push up front from the offensive line. But I said the 3rd down was going to be a crucial play for Prep. This is even more crucial because if they don't get this, Millard West takes over with a very short field, and we've seen what Jacob Jones can do with a long field. I shudder to think of what he's going to do if he's only got 50 yards to go for a score.
Yeah, and the weapons around him, and Evan Meyersick, a wide receiver, and Nathan Peterson, a running back, haven't really even gotten going yet. So
yeah,
see what it takes for these two teams to wake up, but a big play for momentum here on 4th and inches, and Prep is going to keep the offense on the field.
This reminded me a lot of the first quarter against Westside in Prep's first game of the season. Defense performing quite well, but the offense struggling to match it right now. If this play is a first down for Prep, that'll be the first match of the offense.
All right.
For the offense.
Here we go. Crowd rising to its feet again. 4th and inches. Meisenberg backs out. Sanders moves half a yard closer. Quarterback sneak.
Got it.
Getting a push from Sanders, and yeah, he's got the first down easily.
An excellent push there by the Prep offensive line. You saw Sanders, the fullback, getting in there to help push Meisenberg, and Meisenberg, so respected by the rest of this team, paid his dues, spent last year backing up Braden Woodward, John Caniglio. He's earned this starting job, and he has earned the respect of this team with plays like that.
1st and 10 at midfield. Stessman straight up the middle. That gets about 3 yards. Prep into Millard West territory for the first time tonight, and they will have 2nd and 7 from the Wildcat 47-yard line.
And that play could be a huge momentum booster for Prep. We're nearly halfway through the second quarter right now. But converting on a play like that, where the whole team just out-muscles the other team, could be huge for future Prep plays. I can't talk.
Alex Bullock is the lone wide receiver, single coverage at the bottom of the screen. They're going to try and get it to him on a slant, and there's the first catch of the evening for Bullock, who had 19 of them in the last 2 games for Creighton Prep, 10 in the Papio game, 9 in the Lincoln Southeast game. There's his first of the night, and it sets up a 3rd and 2 from the 42-yard line.
And a nice play there by Meisenberg and Bullock. Meisenberg saw that the corner, that's Colton Andrews for Millard West, was playing off of Bullock and just ran the simple slant route, sets up a 3rd and short, which is exactly what Prep wants.
And they've got the same formation that they went to on the 4th down. Meisenberg going to pull it out of Sanders' belly and keep it himself, taking it to the 36. That's another first down. This time they draw all the attention to the fullback, and Meisenberg sneaks out around the edge. Move the chains for Creighton Prep. They've got 1st and 10 at the 36.
Meisenberg probably looking at what Jacob Jones is doing while he's on the sidelines. He's thinking, you know what, I could do that. I could easily do that, and he's doing it right now. Prep starting to move the ball already on the 36 of Millard West. This could be our first score of the game, especially because if we get another first down, we're in Foley range.
Looking to throw. There's Rollins. Ooh, he made a nice adjustment to the ball, but it went in and out of his hands as contact was made, and it's incomplete. So 2nd and 10 coming up, and the weird thing about this drive is, yes, Prep has moved the ball, but they've moved the ball well on the ground for the entirety of this drive, something they haven't been able to do at all. The running game has been non-existent for Creighton Prep to start the season, but they're really leaning on it tonight. Yeah,
the short gains, 3 to 4 yard runs are working very well for Prep. 4:49 to go in the first half.
Handoff straight ahead. Ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground, and Millard West has it at the 30. It was fumbled there by George Egan, and it looked like a Millard West defender fell on it right at the 30, and yes, they have the football. So the Wildcats take over with 4:44 to go, and just as we start talking about the success of the drive, it ends.
The announcer jinx is back in full force. You thought a pandemic would stop it? You were wrong. Colton Andrews there makes a nice play, kind of atoning for his coverage mishap on the slant to Bullock. But that's just great awareness by Andrews there. Sees the ball on the ground and just goes for it.
Yep, so 1st and 10 now for the Wildcats at their own 31.
And that could be a momentum killer for Prep, but the defense had a nice long break, so hopefully they come out motivated, wanting to get their offense the ball back.
Split backfield on 1st down. Prep showing pressure, and Jones is going to take it to his right, looking to pitch. Does that. Holtman around the corner taking it to about the 37 for a gain of 6.
And some speed there from Holtman, and that's one thing that Prep fans don't want to see is a Millard West runner getting to the edge, because Millard West has a lot of fast players on their team, and if they get going just like Avante Dickerson or Cole Payton of West Side, then they can get a lot of yardage very quickly.
So that will bring up 2nd and 4 from the 37. 4:15 to play in the first half. Bullock against Meyersick at the bottom of the screen. How about that matchup? Here's another run, and Jones able to break free. Defender grabbing onto the jersey and just hanging on for the ride, but Jones able to take it all the way across midfield to the Prep 47-yard line. Another big physical run there from the Millard West quarterback.
Yeah, another show of strength there from Jacob Jones. He's just been incredible with the run game so far today. And Prep, as you could see there, just hanging on for the ride, struggling to bring him down with just one guy. Millard West back in Prep territory. They want to come away with some points this time.
1st and 10 at the 47. Nice job handling the snap there. Now a pitch. Ball's on the ground, and it is recovered there. So anxious moments again as Nathan Peterson had to go in and out of the hands. But he's able to fall on it. Loss of a yard on the play. Sets up 2nd and 11 from the 48. So Prep gave the ball to Millard West on a fumble, and Millard West nearly gave it right back.
And those are the plays that could decide the game, is those hustle plays, the plays where the ball's on the ground and you have to get it to win the game. Who's going to win those battles?
Jacob Jones is going to be taken down in the backfield, so you can't bring him down with one man. You put 2 guys on him. And it's a no-gainer there, setting up 3rd and 11 from the 48.
That was Joe Keeney, junior defensive end, one of the few guys on the Prep defense who could actually go pound for pound or inch for inch with Jacob Jones. Does a nice job to bring him down there.
It brings up 3rd and 11. Millard West has seen plenty of 3rd downs tonight.
2:40 to go, and if Prep can get a stop here, they'll have just enough time to get a touchdown.
Ooh, design quarterback run. Jones, very late pitch.
Oh!
And a big hit there. Bullock against Peterson. The 2 stars of the show on both sides, and Bullock drops the Millard West running back for no gain. It's going to be 4th down, and the punt unit will head back out onto the field.
Bullock decisively wins that battle with 2:15 to go in the first half. And Millard West starting to struggle with those speed option plays. They were working on the first couple of drives, but Prep started to sniff it out and put 2 guys on that side, and Millard West just doesn't seem to know what to do with themselves. Nearly a fumble earlier this drive, and now a lose-lose situation for Jacob Jones where he's either got to take the hit or pitch it to a guy who's going to take a hit.
Ooh, a line drive punt. No launch angle whatsoever, and look at this roll. Are you kidding me? All the way to the 5-yard line, and that is where Prep is going to take over. So unconventional, unorthodox, but effective from Jackson Newman, the Millard West punter.
Kind of looks like, I think it's called Aussie rules punting, and that's normal for how the Aussie rules punting works. But so far the rollout's worked. I mean, every time it happens, I get PTSD from that Lincoln South fake punt. But
yeah,
he's punting the ball, and except for that one punt where it died at the Prep 40, he's been doing a pretty good job at pinning Prep back.
And you know what else he's doing? He's keeping it out of the hands of Alex Bullock, the dangerous Prep return man. So a long field ahead of the Junior Jays here. Still no score in this game with 1:47 remaining in the first half. Prep will start at their own 5-yard line, and now a whistle and a timeout.
And this might be one of those drives where the Prep offense really starts clicking. I remember last year I went to a Texas-Iowa State game. It ended badly for me, but we don't have to talk about that. But at the beginning of the half, I was really starting to question the Texas offensive coordinator's decision-making because it seemed like on almost every drive there would be 3 straight runs up the middle that would force a punt. And then with about a minute to go in the half, needing to pass the ball, the offense went down the field like that and scored a touchdown. And I just remember thinking, oh, why don't they do that all the time? So hopefully Prep can have a similar drive like that, but with a better ending to the game.
Well, it depends on how aggressively they choose to play this, because remember, they do get the football to start the second half. So they can either go for the 2-for-1 here, or they can just sit on it and take it to the halftime break.
Definitely don't want to go backwards, though, because there's not a lot of room.
Play fake, Meisenberg. Oh, boy, look out. He's taken down at the half-yard line. Nearly a safety. Big sack there for Millard West. The clock is ticking, and now no margin for error whatsoever for Creighton Prep.
And Millard West takes the timeout Millard West fans very unhappy with the spot of that ball. But Millard West now playing aggressively on defense. That timeout was not just for fun. They want that ball right back. And I know Foley's got a powerful leg, but if he's forced right back up against his own goalposts, that's got to be tough for a punter.
And Millard West pressure just continues to eat Sam Meisenberg alive. He has just had no help there when he's dropped back to pass.
And one of the issues is that Millard West is just so big and fast that they can send 4 guys and still get a hand in his face or pressure him into making a bad throw. So if they send a blitz, it's basically over for the Prep offense.
Yeah, I definitely think with this game being scoreless, the winner of the night so far has been that front 7 from Millard West.
Although I'd argue that it's the front 7 for Prep because we came into this game expecting more of a high-scoring affair, and so far they've come to play, and Nathan Peterson has not really had a lot of big plays so far. Jacob Jones has, but Prep's been able to roll with those punches, and that's the reason why this game is scoreless right now, although it might not be if Meisenberg is sacked again.
Wildcats loading up the line of scrimmage, hit
That's
right at the goal line is Sanders. What is the call? Still waiting for a signal, and we got a safety. Millard West will put 2 points up on the board. A late flag there for some extracurriculars after the play, but the safety is going to stand, and the Wildcats are going to take a 2-0 lead as Max Sanders just could not get out of his own end zone.
And how fitting that in a game that's been decided by defense so far, Millard West gets some great penetration and gets their first points from a safety.
The penalty is against Prep, so some salt on the wound there, as it's a personal foul after the play. It looked like one of the offensive linemen was involved in the middle of a bunch of Wildcats, but
and this is almost the best that Millard West could hope for, really. Not only do they put some points on the board, they also get the ball back, and there's still 1:26 to go. With the way Jones has been passing and running the ball, they could easily get 7 more.
Yep, and they get the football on a free kick following the safety. So 1:26 to play in the first half. Score now Millard West 2, Creighton Prep nothing. And definitely not the start we expected. A lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of penalties early on, and ultimately defenses win the battle as they've done all night so far. Safety puts the Wildcats up by 2 early on.
And the front 7s for both teams have really set the tone for this game, but Millard West's front 7 has done a much better job at getting stops before the Prep offense can get clicking, and they definitely did it right now.
So the special teams units will head out onto the field for the free kick.
And this is back from the 5 because of the unsportsmanlike conduct or personal foul.
Man.
So
that's a killer.
Some nice field position for Millard West is going to result from this.
Yep, Pat Foley's going to have to try and use every bit of that big leg he's got. But Millard West, as you said, is going to have great starting field position with a chance to add to their lead. So Foley will kick from his 10. Looks like Peterson and Caden Williams are back deep to return for Millard West. Kick directed towards Peterson, but Williams will take it from the 27. Williams across the 40, cutting left, able to shake out of a tackle. He's across midfield. Williams still on his feet. There goes Caden Williams. He could take this the distance. Inside the 20, the 10, and all the way inside the 5, still going, and down at the 1. What an amazing play by the electrifying return man of Millard West. Caden Williams sets up a 1st and goal from a yard out.
An incredible play there by Williams. You remember last year in that LSU-Alabama game when Jalen Waddle had that punt return after getting face masked that really turned the tide? Yeah, that's what Williams reminded me of. Like, even on the opening kickoff when he made it out to like the 35 or the 40 after what seemed like a broken play. He's an incredible return man, and Millard West goes from pinning Prep down inside the 5 to being on offense inside the Prep 5 in the span of about 1 game minute.
So Williams, who was first contacted by a Prep defender right around midfield, takes it all the way to the Creighton Prep 4-yard line, and that's where it's 1st and goal for the Wildcats. Split backfield here. It is Jones looking to take it in himself. He lowers the shoulder, fighting to the goal line, and he is in for a Millard West touchdown.
Jacob Jones, just a powerful run there, kind of Tim Tebow-esque, just doing whatever it takes to get to that goal line, and he succeeds. And Millard West, in the span of 5 or 6 plays, has turned this game from a defensive slugfest into Millard West dominating the game.
Nasser Nabulsi will kick the extra point. And a flag before the play, and it's offsides against Prep, so the mistakes just continue to build upon each other for the Junior Jays.
And that punt might turn out to be very important as this game gets farther and farther, or closer and closer to the end, because Prep's offense has been fairly stagnant so far, and 9 points from what we've seen so far, considering points are at a premium, 9 points is quite a lot.
Nabulsi's kick is good, and it is now Millard West 9, Creighton Prep nothing, with 1:03 remaining in the first half. So, quick change of events. Wildcats jump out to a 2-possession lead just before the halftime break.
And if you're Prep now, you just have to really kind of take your medicine and just take it into the second half. Obviously, halftime adjustments are huge in high school football, but there's not really any adjustments Prep needs to make. They just need to get some of their mojo back, and after that punt and that safety, the offense probably doesn't have a lot of it.
So 9-0. Wildcats will kick it away to Creighton Prep. Junior Jays have 1 timeout left if they choose to try and salvage something out of this drive before the halftime break. Creighton Prep, as I said, does get the football to start the second half, as they won the opening coin toss and deferred. So they will get the football, but no doubt about it, Millard West has really turned this game in their favor momentum-wise, and they've got a 9-point lead as a result.
And the big thing is the stars for this game, as we've kept pressing. Jacob Jones, Nathan Peterson for Millard West, guys like Meisenberg, Bullock, and Rollins for Creighton Prep. Now, all of those players have been good, but Jones and Peterson have just been a little bit better. And in a game like this, where defenses are deciding it, that's all it's taken for Millard West to take the lead.
Millard West, their defense was the story in the Millard South game. Although they lost 31-12, it was a 3-0 Millard South lead at halftime. That high-powered rushing attack of the Patriots was held to just a field goal in that first half. And now this Creighton Prep offense, which scored 21 points in the second half last week, held scoreless as we near the end of the first half.
Well, technically it hasn't been held scoreless yet. Still got 63 seconds to go, but Prep's going to need a nice return to put some points on the board. And even a Pat Foley field goal here would be huge.
Low line drive kick, returnable from the 3. Here comes Carson Bartak, make that Pierce Johnson. Pierce Johnson out across the 20 and tackled at the 24.
Oh, got some extracurriculars going.
Yeah, again, there was some feisty business going on in the end zone after the safety, but no flag this time, and Prep will start at their own 24.
That was Max Sanders and Tanner Titus giving each other a little extra blocking after the play was over. Bad blood may be starting to spill over, but Prep can't afford that. They've already been hit pretty hard by penalties, and they can't afford another unsportsmanlike conduct, especially considering that would move them back, and that would be a definite drive killer.
Yep, they're going to try to attack this drive, starting with an empty backfield. Meisenberg, quick throw, look out,
no.
Tipped in the air, and a tip drill interception at the 32-yard line. Will Ekborg, the free safety, comes up with it for Millard West, and Creighton Prep self-destructing with 53 seconds to go in the first half.
And this is the exact opposite of how a team wants senior day to go, but Prep just great Millard West play compounded with iffy Prep decision has really been the story of the game.
Yeah, so the ball sits now at the Creighton Prep 33, and the Wildcats really have a chance to break this game open with another score. They've got plenty of time, 53 seconds and 1 timeout remaining.
If they get a touchdown here, that'll be 16 points in the last 2 minutes. That's got to be close to some sort of record.
Yeah. Jacob Jones just scored the touchdown on the ground moments ago. He's going to throw it here, and an underthrown ball, incomplete, intended for the tight end, Trace Thaden, who leads the tight ends on Millard West with 76 receiving yards this season, but unable to come up with that one, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
And that play makes it seem like Prep's kind of lucky that they're only down 9-0 right now because Jones has had a couple open receivers that he just hasn't been able to hit so far. If he had been able to hit those, this game might have been blown open long before now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jacob Jones is just making some great plays in the pocket, moving to his right and then going back to his left. He just looks so comfortable back there tonight. He's got a 2nd and 10 here. Play fake again. Jones firing deep down the field. He's got Myersick in stride, but just out of his reach and incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 10 with 43 seconds left.
Jacob Jones very hyped up for this game right now. And being hyped up really helps with the running game, but with the passing game, sometimes if you're a bit too hyped up, it results in a bit too much power on the throw. Prep very lucky that Myersick did not get 6 on that play.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 10. Myersick has been held quiet, mostly by overthrows from his quarterback, not as much by good defense from Creighton Prep. He's been left open a couple times.
And he hasn't really needed to be targeted because of how Millard West's run game has been going.
3rd and 10. Here comes Jacob Jones. Slices to the inside. Breaks a tackle. Shifts through another one, and he gets the first down. I tell you what, I don't think Jacob Jones could be any more impressive than what he's been in this first half. A 12-yard gain there, and it's another first down.
Kind of reminiscent of Cole Payton there, and in fact, this Millard West team as a whole reminds me a lot of Westside. They've got a lot of speed on offense and defense, and they've got a nice double-threat quarterback who's got speed and power but can also throw the ball deep, and they've got some speedy running backs.
So the final timeout of the half is called for by Millard West. 33 seconds remain on the clock. The Wildcats now powerless to stop the clock, but they've got 1st and 10 at the Creighton Prep 21. So if you're just joining us or if you had to take a bathroom break, let's run you through what the last 5 minutes have entailed because there's been a lot. It started with a Creighton Prep safety as Max Sanders was tackled in his own end zone. 2 points on the board for Millard West. And then a penalty flag after the safety set Creighton Prep back to their own 10 for the free kick. And that free kick was returned by Caden Williams all the way to the Creighton Prep 4. So Millard West went right back to the goal line. They punched it in on a 4-yard touchdown run with Jacob Jones, the quarterback. And then an interception on the first play of the next drive from Creighton Prep. And that puts us where we are now with 1st and 10 Millard West at the 21.
So, yeah, definitely save your bathroom breaks for halftime next time because if you did take a bathroom break, you missed quite a lot. And, oh, boy, some more handkerchiefs.
Yeah, it's a false start. So that will help the cause for Creighton Prep trying to just get out of this first half, which has taken quite the downhill turn.
And if you are just joining us, like Tyler said, you missed an incredible half from Jacob Jones tonight. He's been incredible in the run game. The passing game leaves a little bit to be desired. He's had a couple inaccurate throws. But in the run game, he's just been almost unstoppable, slicing through this Prep defense or running over them if the occasion calls for it.
2nd and 15, play fake, free rusher right up the middle. Jones again with great pocket presence as he flips it out, and it goes right through the hands of the leaping Nathan Peterson. So what Jones has lacked in terms of throwing accuracy, he's made up for with his pocket presence as he's evaded free pass rusher after free pass rusher.
I mean, just looking back on how the game's gone so far, I think that Prep could have 5, maybe 6 more sacks if Jacob Jones had been a normal pocket passer quarterback, but he is very much not. Definitely a special talent in that Millard West backfield, and a backfield pretty full of special talents.
Yep, and they haven't had to use the full extent of their talents, and they still got a 9-0 lead. So here is 2nd and 15, another play fake, another free rusher, and Jones steps past again. He's inside the 20. Powerful running takes him all the way to the 12, just a yard shy of the first down. So Jacob Jones continues to call his own number and do it well.
Some ridiculous speed there from Jones again. He's just evading Prep defenders left and right. And for such a fast quarterback, he's got a very large body, and that will help with, in case he can't get out of the Prep defender's way, he can just run him right over.
Well, it appeared that the scoreboard here at Phelps Stadium was incorrect. It said that Millard West had no timeouts remaining, but they just called one, so they must have at least one more left. So the clock stops with 19 seconds to play, and it's going to be 3rd and 1 from the 12.
And Millard West just on cruise control right now, have been ever since that punt, really. But they've just really started playing incredible football since that punt. Almost flawless on all sides of the ball, really. I mean, offense, you've got the touchdown and this drive, which is going very well. Defense, you've got the safety and the tipped interception. And special teams, you've got the incredible punt and then the incredible return off of the safety.
Now let's see if the offense can finish off this drive. They've got 3rd and 1 from the Prep 12-yard line. They'll go back to that split backfield formation. Chase Holtman to the left of Jones, Nathan Peterson to the right. And a whistle here. No, there was no whistle. The pass to the end zone is incomplete. Thought I might have heard a whistle as the ball was being snapped, but the fade route to the end zone incomplete. 4th down, and Millard West just going to play conservatively and bring the field goal unit onto the field.
And Millard West fans desperate for a flag there. A lot of hand fighting going on between Trace Thaden and Alex Bullock on that fade route. And maybe there was some PI on Bullock, but there might also been some PI on Hayden. So, in my opinion, refs made the right call, leaving the flags in their pockets. And now 16 seconds left. Millard West is just going to take the points. Chip shot field goal here.
Nasser Nabolsi from 29. It is up, and it's through the uprights to make it a 12-0 lead for the Wildcats. So with 12 seconds left, it's a 12-point advantage for Millard West.
And that's some big points right there, because now it goes from Prep only needing a touchdown and a field goal to take the lead to now needing 2 touchdowns. So that means you have to have 2 very well-executed drives instead of just 1, and 1 decent drive that results in 3. So Millard West has just flipped a switch in the last few minutes of this second quarter, and we've seen this before from teams like Westside. Once they flip a switch, there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah, but Prep has been a second-half team so far this season. In the Week 2 game against Papillion La Vista, they scored 14 points in the second half to make a comeback win, 21-16 over Papillion La Vista. And then in last week's game against Lincoln Southeast, they were down 21-0 in the third quarter, but made it a 24-21 ball game. So we'll see what adjustments Coach Yonk and company can draw up and what kind of execution we see from Creighton Prep coming out of the break.
And another big thing, Millard West has not won a fourth quarter yet this year. So if it gets down to the clutch, I like Jacob Jones the way he's playing so far, but I trust Prep more.
Here comes the kick from Jackson Newman. Puts it in the air from the 40. Low kick. This will be returnable, taken from the 10-yard line by Pierce Johnson. The sophomores across the 20 and taken down hard at the 23. So 7 seconds to go, and I'm sure we'll see a Creighton Prep kneel down, and I'm sure we will be going to halftime here at the conclusion of this play.
And it makes you wonder what would have happened if Prep had just ran the clock out on their last offensive drive, because those 3 points in a defensive battle like this could loom very, very large.
Yep, so it is a kneel-down formation. Meisenberg will take a knee at the 21. And that will take us to the halftime break. And the Millard West fan section right in front of us rises to their feet, as they should. It was a great ending to that first half from their Wildcats. And as a result, they lead it 12-0. So let's take a look at some of the other matchups around Class A happening this weekend. Last night we had a couple games, namely Lincoln Southeast Prep's matchup from last week, the 5th-ranked team in the state, taking on Lincoln East. Omaha Westside, whose field Prep is using tonight. The 1st-ranked Warriors visiting Grand Island tonight. 7th-ranked Kearney at 2nd-ranked Bellevue West, the only other top 10 matchup in Class A tonight. And then 4th-ranked Elkhorn South at Papillion La Vista. Papillion La Vista, of course, Prep's only win so far this season. 9th-ranked Gretna at Bellevue East. Fremont at Norfolk. North Platte, Prep's matchup next week at Lincoln Northeast tonight. And then Papillion La Vista South, another future matchup for Prep at Lincoln Southwest. Lincoln North Star, Lincoln Pius X, and then Lincoln High at Columbus. So some good matchups, a couple of top 10 ones. We got a top 10 game here at Phelps Field.
And it's certainly been an interesting half. Prep did a very good job, but seemed to just kind of fall off the cliff there. After that punt, they just couldn't get anything going on offense or defense. And Millard West, definitely a very good final few minutes of the half.
Well, 24 minutes of football in the books from Phelps Field. 6th-ranked Millard West leads 8th-ranked Creighton Prep by a score of 12-0. We will be back to start the second half after the halftime performance. Welcome back to Phelps Field at Westside High School as we get set to start the second half of action between the Creighton Prep Junior Jays and the Millard West Wildcats. First half was very interesting to say the least.
Yep.
Scoreless up until the final 2 minutes of that first half when Millard West got a safety, followed by a touchdown, followed by a field goal off of an interception. So Creighton Prep really crumbled, but they get the ball to start the second half, chance to turn the ship around.
We had a bit of a stream freeze in the first quarter. If you experienced that with about 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, you probably came out of halftime thinking, oh, Prep's got a 0-0 tie against a really solid team. This is going to be interesting. Well, we do not have a scoreless tie, and the biggest reason for that is Jacob Jones, the Millard West quarterback. He hasn't really been that accurate in the passing game, which has left at least 14 points on the board. But he's been incredible in the running game. Prep can't really bring him down with one guy at all right now. So still looking for an answer for him, and the offense is just looking for an answer for anything. They've only crossed 50-yard line once, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been rough, and the sequence of events was incredible that led to this 12-0 score. So Millard West had a punt that rolled down inside the 5, and then after 2 plays, Prep had a safety. In the end zone after that, there was some hand fighting. So a penalty on Prep for unnecessary roughness leads to the free kick being from the 10. The returner gets the ball all the way inside the Prep 5, and then Jones scores the next play. And then Prep comes back out, throws an interception that was tipped twice, and Millard West gets a field goal line and a half. So it's been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Tyler Reedy. That's Brendan Preisman. If you're just joining us, taking you through the Creighton Prep home opener tonight. They're playing jump around here as both teams take the field to start the second half. 2.5 minutes until we begin the second half with Millard West leading Creighton Prep 12-0. So crowds have been great tonight. They let the seniors of Creighton Prep back into the birdcage for the first time. The Millard West fan section right in front of us from where the press box is situated. They've been loud on all of Prep's third downs and Millard West big plays. So it's been an energetic kind of game. And after the second half we saw in the Lincoln Southeast game with Creighton Prep last week where they made almost a crazy comeback, should definitely be interesting to see what goes down in this one.
And I think that just focusing on Jones and the Millard West offense would be very unfair to the Prep defense because until those last few minutes, and even that wasn't really their fault, they've been performing out of their minds. Nathan Peterson, Millard West's best running back, hasn't really been able to get going. Jones hasn't been able to find his open receivers accurately enough. And it was scoreless for a longer time than 12-0 at half would expect.
Yeah, but then Millard West just flipped that switch, a lot like Westside did, a lot like all of the big-name teams tend to do against Creighton Prep. But can Prep turn the momentum back around like they did last week against Lincoln Southeast? We're going to find out, and it's going to have to be leaning on the passing game for this Creighton Prep offense with Sam Meisenberg, who threw 3 second-half touchdown passes in the game last week. What did you see from him following that performance here tonight, and what do you expect going forward?
I saw a lot of grit from him. He made a couple of nice running plays on Prep's best drive that ended in a fumble, converted 1 4th down and another 3rd down and short. He hasn't really thrown the ball a lot, but when he has, it's been mostly on target except for that tipped interception. But he's performed well. I expect to see a lot more of him since Prep is playing from behind and a lot less running, and I think that he's going to rise to the challenge.
And you mentioned Jacob Jones on the offensive side for Millard West, but you definitely have to give a lot of credit to that pass rush of the Millard West defense. They forced Sam Meisenberg into some throws he didn't want to make. He's been sacked a couple times. He hasn't been able to get the ball to his playmakers, Alex Bullock, A.J. Rollins. And that pass rush has just really neutralized the Creighton Prep offensive attack. But Prep gets the ball to start the second half, and we'll see if it's time to turn things around.
And much like Millard West's opening drive set the tone for much of the first half, a battle of defensive attrition, Prep's opening drive will set the tone for the second half. Is Prep going to claw their way back into this or continue to get dominated on both sides of the ball? We're about to find out.
Yep. So Jackson Newman will tee it up from the 40. 24 minutes left to decide it. Can Prep try and make another comeback, trailing by a score of 12-0? Jackson Newman will kick. Pierce Johnson and Carson Bartak waiting on it for Creighton Prep. Low line drive. will be taken from the goal line. This is Bartak out across the 20, and he takes it to the 25. So that is where Creighton Prep will begin the second half on offense, and they were shut down, especially by that Millard West pass rush in the first half. It was really a struggle to move the football for Creighton Prep.
And Millard West doing a good job so far tonight on special teams coverage. They've avoided punting the ball to Alex Bullock, one of Prep's most dangerous players. And on kick returns, they haven't really allowed Prep to get past the 25. So Prep, again, starting in the shadow of their own goalposts. Hopefully they can get out of them quickly.
1st and 10 at their own 25. In 4 first halves this season, Creighton Prep has scored a combined 6 points, this game included. They start on the ground here on first down, gain of a couple, as it is Jack Stessman taking it to the 27, sets up 2nd and 8.
And we mentioned this in the pregame a little bit. Vinny Cassiopo, Prep starter from last year, missing his senior day game with a dislocated elbow sustained during non-football activities. But hopefully he'll be back soon. A big part of the Prep running game last year.
Oh, boy. Wild snap, and Meisenberg just has to fall on it back at the 13 or 12-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and a country mile for Creighton Prep.
And that is exactly what Prep did not want to open the second half, in case you were wondering. I did not expect a bad snap on second down to be part of a good opening drive. But back to Stessman and Cassiopo. Kind of a reversal of their fates from last year in a way. Stessman tore his ACL, I believe, after during the first game of last year, missed the entire rest of the season, while Cassiopo was the Prep lead back. This year, the roles are kind of reversed. Stessman stayed healthy, but Cassiopo hasn't played yet.
3rd and 22, a little rollback pass to A.J. Rollins on the other side. He's got some space crossing the 20, and he's able to take it to the 27, but nowhere near enough for the first down, and Creighton Prep goes 3 and out to start the second half.
And mistakes were a pretty key part of the first half for Creighton Prep. A lot of penalties on both offense and defense that either extended drives or cut them short. Obviously, the unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness in the end zone after the safety that led to the huge return for Millard West. And a bad snap to start the second half is a pretty bad omen, I'd say.
Yeah, and we've seen several bad snaps, quite frankly, from Creighton Prep tonight. Meisenberg has done a nice job handling them, but what those bad snaps have done, it's given Millard West already impressive pass rush more time to get to Meisenberg. Pat Foley's punt taken from the 33. Caden Williams, who had the big free kick return earlier, is all the way to the 41 of Creighton Prep, so his big night continues on the special teams unit, and Millard West takes over with great field position at the Creighton Prep 41.
And Millard West now clearly dominating on all 3 sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams. Their coverage has been impeccable, while the returns for Williams have been incredible as well, but it looks like there's a penalty, so...
Yeah, this one was illegal.
Ooh, not an illegal return.
Yep.
So that'll bring them back to the...
Ooh, they're way back. Looks
30.
Like spot of the foul penalty. It looks
3.
Like. Yep.
My goodness. So that means that it's a slightly longer field from for Jacob Jones, but as we've seen in the first half, doesn't seem to bother him at all.
So 1st and 10 at the 33. See how Jacob Jones builds on his incredible first half. Start with a handoff. Nathan Peterson, who was neutralized well by the Creighton Prep defensive line in the first half, is shut down again. Gain of only a yard on the play for Peterson, who has 2 100-yard rushing games this season, but nowhere near that tonight as the Prep defense has been impressive, stopping runs up the middle when they haven't been from the quarterback.
Yeah. And Prep's done probably their best performance of the season at clogging the runs up the middle. The issue is when Jacob Jones gets out in space, they have found no answer for him.
2nd and 9, 34-yard line. Jones is going to take it himself, cutting through the middle, and again, there he goes.
My
Jacob
goodness.
Jones across midfield with a first down. He just looks unstoppable right now, taking it to the Creighton Prep 48-yard line with a gain of 18 yards and another Wildcat first down.
That's the kind of play you hope for in Madden. It looked like at one point there were 4 defenders surrounding him, and none of them barely even got a hand on him. It's incredible how fast he is for such a tall quarterback, and he's used his speed quite well against this Prep defense. Millard West already into Prep territory despite the penalty on the punt return.
1st and 10 from the prep side of midfield as Peterson's able to gallop through some would-be tacklers and take it down to the 40-yard line. Still spinning his way as he stayed on his feet through all of that, but forward progress will mark him at the 40, gain of 8 on the play. One of Peterson's better runs on the night.
And one of the big issues, if Jacob Jones is starting to cook again, is that if Prep keys in on him, then Peterson will have a lot of open field. And you mentioned his 200-yard games so far this year. We know what he can do with open field, and it will not be good for Prep.
2nd and 3 from the 41. Millard West continues to operate with the split backfield as it's a handoff right up the middle. This will get the first down as Chase Holtman this time gets the carry and takes it to the 36. Gain of 5 on the play and a move of the chains for the Wildcats.
8:46 to go in this third quarter, and the Prep defense already looks fatigued, even more fatigued than they were at the end of the first half. Millard West has come out of the break re-energized, but Prep just looks flat.
And Millard West just continues to run the ball right down their throats. They'll do it again here. Ooh, look out with the football. Holding it loosely was Jones, but he's still able to get the first down as there was some indecision as to whether he should pitch it out to the running back or keep it himself. Chose to call his own number, and as he's done all night, picks up good yardage.
And there's a down player.
Oh, who is that?
It might be Jones.
It is Jacob Jones.
And
I don't see an 18 running towards the Millard West sideline. That
could be
a huge
critical
moment in this game. And of course, we hope he's all right.
Mm-hmm.
He's played an incredible game tonight, and when you run as physically as he does, your body's going to take some hits, and he is receiving plenty of attention on that sideline.
Still down on the ground. Prep has time for a water break now, and this is one of the worst case scenarios for Millard West other than a score for Prep on their opening drive. That is something that no team wants, especially a team like Millard West that is so dependent on their quarterback being mobile. Still down on the ground, receiving help. And now they lift him to his feet. He does not look like he'll be able to return for a while.
Looks like a lower body leg injury as he struggling to put weight on it. Looks like the left leg. Looks like a left leg injury for the quarterback, Jacob Jones, as he goes very slowly off the field. So we hope he is all right. If he is unable to come back to this game, it wouldn't be the first time that Millard West has had to go without their star quarterback in their Week 2 game against Millard North. Jones was out with a knee injury, so the backup quarterback, Tristan Harms, played that game, started the game for Millard West as the fan section in front of us rises to their feet to applaud their quarterback and encourage him walking off the field.
Very gingerly on that left leg. Not sure if that's the same knee that resulted in him missing the team's second game, but if it is, we do hope that he is okay.
Yeah, but in that game that Jones had to sit out due to the knee injury, Millard West only threw the ball 7 times with their backup Tristan Harms, and it resulted in 13 passing yards and an interception. They just ran the ball for basically that entire game, and we'll see what they do here with the backup quarterback.
Looks like it's Brady Brow, the sophomore, who's in. Jones still walking to the sideline. They'll get him on the training table.
So they'll start with a handoff to the reliable Nathan Peterson for a gain of 3 yards, trying to ease the backup Brady Brow, who has not taken a snap this year, into this game. Gain of 3 on the opening play. It'll be 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8 from the 23.
And Prep definitely needs to capitalize on this. Obviously, you never want any player to get injured, whether they're on your team or another team. But if they can't stop Millard West's offense with the backup quarterback a backup quarterback who, as you said, hasn't taken a snap, that would be a very bad sign.
Brady Brow doing his best Jacob Jones impression and getting some open field inside the 10. He's got a first down, taking it down to the 7-yard line, setting up a 1st and goal for Millard West. Gain of 16 on the play.
Well, doesn't look like he hasn't taken a snap this year anymore. I guess all it takes is 1 snap, and he's running the offense like he's a senior. Sets up a 1st and goal for Millard West, already threatening the Prep end zone with about 7:35 to go in this third quarter.
And by the way, we have a good look at Jacob Jones on the training table on the sideline from our position here in the broadcast booth, so we will keep you posted on the situation with the star quarterback First and goal at the 8. Brow moving left, being chased, pitches it out, and this is going to get spilled in the backfield, but a good effort from Chase Holtman to get something out of that, although it's a loss of 2. Brings up second and goal from the 10. Nice job by the Creighton Prep defense, expecting run.
And obviously, any defense wouldn't expect the pretty new quarterback to come out throwing the ball, but the issue is Prep getting stops in the open field because they've struggled with that all night, whether it's Jones or somebody else carrying the ball.
Second and goal at the 10, 6:45 to go in the third quarter. Brow to his right, looking to take off again. Now pitches it late to Holtman. Can he get to the end zone? He turns the corner, and he's in for a Wildcat touchdown, extending the lead to 18 points. A 10-yard score for Chase Holtman.
And there's a hold. It's coming back.
Oh, holding, okay. A flag on the play. Yep, there you go.
Millard West fans very upset considering that their team has really started to dominate this game. But maybe they're still worried about their quarterback. He's getting his left knee massaged right now, and we're not sure if he's going to be able to come back, but he can move the leg, so it does not appear to be a ligament tear, at least. I apologize for that there. But Jones on the trainer's table. Hopefully for Millard West, he'll be able to come back soon.
Second and goal at the 20 following the holding call. Here's the throw. Brow airing it out to the end zone. All kinds of traffic. Almost like a Hail Mary, and it comes down incomplete. So the quarterback's first pass after coming into the game is a dangerous one, and it'll be third and goal from the 20.
Looking for Meyersick, though. Can you blame him? The 6'5" basketball star, as you said, led the team in points and rebounds last year. I mean, if there's going to be a receiver you're going to throw a jump ball up to, Meyersick is probably the best choice.
So that brings up third and goal at the 20. Meyersick, 6'5". He towers over the majority of Creighton Prep's defenders, if not all of them, but a lot of traffic there, unable to make the catch. Here's third and goal. Brow taking off left. Going to try to turn the corner. Turning on the Jets. And he is in for the touchdown. What a play by Brady Brow as he was able to take it around the corner and score from 20 yards out. And on third and goal from the 20-yard line, Millard West finds the end zone, and they lead at 18-0.
An incredible play for the sophomore. Looks like he's been running that offense his entire life, and he's got some speed too. Millard West is in good hands despite the Jones injury.
So here comes the PAT from Nasser Nabulsi. He's already made one of them tonight, and his second is up and through. So Millard West extends their lead by 7. It is now a 19-0 game. 6:22 remaining in the third quarter, and the situation starting to get a bit dire for Creighton Prep.
And this is where you just need to start airing the ball out. You need a score, and you need a score now. Alex Bullock and A.J. Rollins have both basically been silent so far this game. You need to get the ball to them, get the ball to the hands of your playmakers, maybe get it out to Stessman in space, but you can't keep running the ball up the middle in this scenario.
So Prep will get it back, now trailing by 3 scores, and it's an almost identical situation to the one they were in last week at Lincoln Southeast. They trailed 21-0 about halfway through the third quarter, and were able to string together 3 consecutive touchdown drives to cut the lead down to 3, but it's going to take a lot of effort to break through this Millard West defense, particularly their pass rush, and try and get back in this game.
Yep, and Prep seemed to have some sort of pass offense working with those quick screen passes and quick slant routes, things like that. So maybe if Prep would go back to those, they'd be able to start marching their way back down the field.
So 6:22 remaining. They continue to look at Jacob Jones now sitting up on the trainer's table. 6:22 left. And Prep will get the ball back. As Jackson Newman will get set to kick off. Brady Brow comes into the game and scores from 20 yards out on the ground. Both quarterbacks, the starter and the backup, have scored rushing touchdowns tonight.
Millard West to kick off. They've done very well covering Prep's Prep's returns on special teams so far. So if Prep could get a big return going, that could flip some of the momentum that they'll need to get back into this game.
It looks like they're taping up that left knee of the quarterback, Jacob Jones, down there on the sideline. He's now to his feet as the kick is away, returnable from the 10. Pierce Johnson takes it, cutting right across the 20, and Pierce Johnson's got some open field, turning on the speed, and he's all the way to the 40, so maybe a big return is just what Creighton Prep needs. They'll start this drive just 10 yards shy of midfield.
Thanks for the plagiarism there. I expect royalties for that. But now Prep gets to start off from their 40. This is, I think, the best field position they've had all night. Only 60 yards to go, and probably only about 30 yards to go to get into Pat Foley field goal range. But a touchdown has to be the priority here. 3
receivers to the near side on first down. Meisenberg hands off. There's some space to work with for Stessman, who corkscrews his way to the 48 with a gain of 8 yards. So with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, it'll be 2nd and 2.
And opening the drive with a run works out quite well. Stessman, a very speedy, elusive back, and he makes the Millard West defense pay for leaving the middle open right there.
2nd and 2, 48-yard line. This time they spread the 4 receivers out to the left, to the right. Meisenberg on the move to his right, fires and fits it in nicely to Alex Bullock for a first down, taking it to the Millard West 44-yard line, gain of 8 on the play, and a first down.
And Bullock very good at using those short routes to just accumulate yardage, kind of a Julian Edelman-style receiver. But if they can get those plays working consistently, if Prep can, then their offense has a bright future out of it.
1st and 10 at the 44. Prep operating from Wildcat territory with a run straight ahead and a good burst for a gain of about 6 yards there from the running back, Stessman, who's picking up some nice carries here in this game, especially on this drive. 6 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 4 from the 38.
Update on Jacob Jones. He is standing on the sideline, but it does not appear as though he will be going back in. Braden Brow was talking to the offensive coordinator, but Jones was not. So it looks like Jacob Jones might be done for the day.
Hand it off again for Prep, and some good, strong running. How about the effort there from Stessman? He was wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, but was able to get 3 yards out of it, turning 3rd and 5 into 3rd and 1 for the Junior Jays at the 35.
And Stessman definitely has the potential to be one of those Prep stars. And I mentioned the thing in the pregame, the Prep back hasn't gone over 50 yards in a game yet. Maybe Stessman could be the first as we hit 4:25 to go in the third quarter.
3rd and 1. Ball at the 35-yard line. Thomas Lydon comes sprinting into the game from the sideline, joining Alex Bullock on the left side of the formation. 2 men in the backfield. Hand it off straight ahead. They've got the first down with Stessman as he spins his way to the 32. Gain of 3 yards, and it's good for a Creighton Prep first down.
Stessman taking some hits, but he just keeps on going, spinning, twisting, diving, whatever he has to do to get the first down, and it's succeeding right now. Prep the farthest into Millard West territory they've been this evening at the 32-yard line.
Trying to take that 0 off of the scoreboard with 3:50 to play in this third quarter. Millard West leading 19-0. I formation on first down. Rollins alone to the near side, and Alex Bullock alone to the far side. Handoff up the middle. It looked like there was a bit of a delay there, but Max Sanders eventually got the ball and picks up about 3 yards on the fullback dive.
Prep going with the fullback dive again, and that's had varying degrees of success for them so far, but it's a nice bit of trickery to let both Stessman and Meisenberg get a little bit of a break and let the fullback do the heavy lifting for a play or two.
So that brings up 2nd and 7. Split backfield again between Sanders and Stessman. This time Meisenberg wants to throw. Going to float it up. Single coverage with Rollins, and it's incomplete, but a flag is thrown at the 17-yard line in the path of the route from A.J. Rollins. So this could be a defensive penalty.
And you'll know if it's defensive pass interference because we're going to hear a lot of boos pretty soon, being right next to the Millard West fan section. But a good play call by Prep. I've been wondering why they didn't go to that earlier. If you've got Rollins, who's 6'6", against a shorter cornerback, offensive pass interference. Oh, my. So that's a loss of 10 and of down.
Yeah, so Rollins used to boxing people out and being physical in the basketball court in the paint, but can't do that when you're trying to make a catch and must have pushed off there at the top of that route as the ball was coming in. So it's going to be second and long or third and long. Oh, an eligible man. Okay, an eligible man downfield is the call. So A.J. Rollins not the guilty party.
Sorry about that, A.J.
Yep.
But Prep, I think, should keep going back to that chance they have with the lob pass because they've got Rollins on a much shorter defender, and he's used to catching alley-oops.
Millard West declined the penalty. It's 3rd and 7, and it is a toss to Stessman trying to get the first down. He's 2 yards short at the 25. That's an interesting play call to go with on 3rd and 7, the halfback toss, but Stessman has had the hot hand to open up this second half.
So 4th and 2, and now decision time for the Junior Jays. It does not appear as though Pat Foley will be trotting out onto the field. So Prep going to go for it on 4th and 2, and if they don't get it here, this game's probably as good as over with 2:45 to go on the 3rd.
4th and 2. Millard West fan section getting loud. 2 men in the backfield. Meisenberg to throw. Quick pass. Incomplete.
Batted down at the line.
Incomplete, batted down again, and that Millard West defensive front does it again.
They've just been incredible. Prep has had no answer for them, whether they've been getting penetration, getting tackles, or even batting down the ball, which that's not the first time they've done. It's not the first time they've done that. They've just been unstoppable, and Prep just another poor offensive performance so far. Still got the 4th quarter to go, but it does not look good for the Junior Jays.
Wildcats take over with Brady Brow at quarterback. 1st and 10 at their own 25. Brow moving right, pitches it to Chase Holtman, trying to turn the corner, and he is wrapped up well there by one of the Prep defenders there, Matt Nanfito. Loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12 from the 23.
And Prep still doing a good job with that penetration, but they might need to force a turnover at the rate this game is going. 2:15 to go, which means we've only got about 14 minutes of football left. And considering the offense needs to score 19 points, they're going to need the ball back and quickly.
2nd and 12. Right up the middle again, and this time it's stopped again. No gain on the play as the Creighton Prep defensive line continues to be stout up front as Nathan Peterson is denied any yardage. It'll be 3rd and 12. Huge play coming up right here. Wildcats have faced a lot of 3rd downs. They've mostly been medium in nature, although on the 3rd and goal from the 20-yard line, Brady Brow was able to run it in for a touchdown on the last 3rd down.
And I nearly said that was an obvious passing situation for Brow, but then he proved me wrong before I could even say it, so we might see something similar here. 3rd and 12, Prep defense desperately needing a stop.
Brow moving left, nothing there, makes a cutback up the middle, and he's going to be wrapped up. So the Creighton Prep defense does exactly what they needed to do. They get the 3 and out, and they will turn things back over to the offense, assuming Millard West does not go with a fake punt here on 4th and 8.
And it certainly looks like the punt team coming back. A punt, really the play that changed this game, the rugby style or Aussie rules punt that trickled down inside the Prep 5 and resulted in 2 points for Millard West and all the ensuing drama. So another big chance for the punter to flip field position.
Jackson Newman with another one of those punts. Going to bounce just past midfield and take a very friendly Wildcat roll. And it'll be down at about the 34-yard line as it comes to a standstill right there. So 33 seconds left. Prep trailing by a score of 19-0, and they will have 1st and 10 at their own 34.
Just from a timing standpoint, Prep's probably going to have to get their first touchdown, hopefully before the end of this quarter, but if not, one of the first few plays of the 4th. So they've got about 66 yards to go with 33 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And let's see if the offense can come up with something new to get clicking again.
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly closer to a now or never situation for Prep as time out on the field here before the Junior Jays drive begins. Last drive, Prep moved the ball well, especially on the ground with their running back, Jack Stessman, who's really had a nice game tonight, but eventually the drive resulted in a 4th and 2. Prep tried to throw the football, and it got batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. So another win for the Millard West defense, much like what we've seen for the entire night.
Yep. And a quick update on Jacob Jones. He is talking with one of the trainers flexing that knee. We're not sure what he's saying, but it doesn't look like Millard West will have need of his services again tonight. So hopefully for their team and for his legs, he can just rest up for the rest of the game.
So meanwhile, Sam Meisenberg will take over at his own 34.
And
Prep going right back to that split backfield.
you have to start throwing the ball deep on this drive. There's no point in playing conservatively anymore because there's no point.
And they're going to start with a throw. As he said, Meisenberg firing, look out, and it's right into the hands of a Millard West defender for the interception. So it's picked off at the 39-yard line. Looked like it was number 32. That is the defensive back or middle linebacker, Brecken Wallace, the senior, who has a sack and a fumble recovery on the season, and now he adds an interception to his resume.
And that now or never situation for Creighton Prep just turned into a lot more like never than now.
Yep.
And that's just a rough play for Meisenberg, quarterback who's been so consistent all year. Did throw a pick six against Lincoln Southeast, but on that play, just looked at Rollins the entire play, and it was pretty easy for
Brecken Wallace.
To just read his eyes and step in. Great play by the senior middle linebacker, and that just might seal the deal.
1st and 10 at the Prep 39 for the Wildcats. Brow is going to take it out to the right. Last second pitch. Gets it to Chase Holtman. And there he goes down the sideline. See you later for the touchdown. And the Wildcats just continue to pour it on ever since the 2 minutes remaining mark of the end of the first half. It is now 25-0 as Holtman turns on the Jets and scores from 39 yards out.
And incredible blocking there by Millard West. They got outside the hash marks and started making some blocks. There was a big hole that opened up for Chase Holtman, and he just used his speed to outrun the entirety of the Prep defense all the way home, and that's probably where most Prep fans are thinking to go right about now.
Here comes the extra point, and it is good, making Nasser Nabulsi 3 for 3 on the night. And it is now 26-0 Millard West with 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. And it was 0-0 with 2 minutes left in the first half, but boy, have the times changed in this one.
Obviously, the score line in this scenario is a little bit different, but this reminds me a little bit of Texans-Chiefs in the divisional round last year. You loved that game. I most certainly did not, but that's kind of what this feels like. I remember checking the score and seeing Texans lead 24-0 and being like, oh my goodness, we're actually going to do this. And then checking the score about half an hour later, and it was now 28-24 Chiefs. And that's kind of what's happened here, because I don't think Prep is an inferior team to Millard West. Millard West just flipped a switch like we've been saying, and Prep hasn't been able to counter it at all in any facet of the game, really. Even despite Millard West having a backup quarterback for their last two drives, they're 2 of 2 when it comes to scoring.
Yeah. So now, with 16 seconds left, it's a 4-possession game, and that almost certainly puts it out of reach for Creighton Prep, but we've seen crazier things.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mostly in basketball, but we've seen crazier things.
So here comes the kick. Jackson Newman with Pierce Johnson and Carson Bartak awaiting. Line drive again, fielded from the 1. Here comes Bartak straight ahead. Gets across the 20, and he jumps his way out across the 30. Good return will set up the Jays at the 36. So a couple nice returns from Creighton Prep, but now the question is, can the offense do something with them?
Yep.
Last drive, an interception right off the bat.
And the senior quarterback, Sam Meisenberg, has to bounce back from that interception, because one thing you can't do is let the interception get in your head, because then you're going to do stuff like hold the ball too long or throw it away or not trust yourself even if you've got an open receiver. So Meisenberg's got to put the interception out of sight, out of mind, look at the scoreboard, and do what he has to do to get Prep this win.
From the 36, they start on the ground. Ooh, nice spin move there from Stessman, and he's able to pick up a yard on the play as Stessman continues to do well, eluding tackles at the line of scrimmage as we reach the end of the third quarter. A third quarter which has seen Millard West expand their lead from 12-0 to 26-0. And with 12 minutes remaining, they've got a big lead over the Junior Jays.
And Stessman been one of the few bright spots of this game so far for the Jays. Doesn't have any touchdowns or even a lot of yardage to show for it, but he's been performing quite well, looking elusive, and fast. He's just been incredible.
Well, I tell you what, though the scoreline is ugly with Millard West beating Creighton Prep up pretty bad, I look across the field to the bleachers opposite us at the press box, and the seniors-only birdcage has followed the fourth quarter tradition of taking their shirts off. So the birdcage traditions live on even in these challenging times. So always nice to see the boys having fun over there, but not a whole lot to cheer about tonight. Still time, though.
Yep.
But I tell you what, though, there will be more to cheer about in October as the schedule lightens up immensely.
We won't be doing the North Platte game, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because either we don't have the budget or North Platte doesn't have a press box. But hopefully we'll be bringing you more of the prep games in the future, and hopefully they'll have a happier result.
Yep. And the thing about the playoffs, since it was expanded to include 24 teams, the top 16 teams get a home game in the first round. Top 8 teams get a bye. So if Prep can just finish in the top 16, they got a home game in the playoffs. So
that'll be fun to call.
Yep. Plenty of time to move forward from this one. We'll see what Prep can accomplish here in the fourth quarter. They start with 2nd and 9 at their own 37.
And Prep in the I formation, interesting way to come out considering they've got 12 minutes to score 27 points, and their defense hasn't been able to get a stop since the second half started. But
looks like the big sophomore Sam Sledge at the bottom of the screen, as it's a handoff straight ahead to Max Sanders, the fullback, and he takes it to the 45, setting up third and about a yard from the 45-yard line.
And Prep maybe trying to put a seed of doubt into the minds of Millard West defense as to what they're going to do on this play. Maybe another run play would work, but if Millard West commits all out to the run, then a pass play could be wide open.
Just one wide receiver in the game on 3rd and 1. It's Alex Bullock at the bottom of your screen. Handoff inside, and Sanders is taken down immediately. It looked like he got about halfway there, and Prep obviously will have to go for it in this situation. It's going to be 4th and about 3/4. Oh, they'll make it a full yard. Going to be 4th and a full yard as Sanders was wrapped up immediately following the handoff.
And I think I touched on this a lot last year, but running the same play twice in a row rarely works unless you're playing in a video game.
Yep.
And it did not work there for Prep. So now another 4th down. They've become fairly familiar with this situation, and they've been able to convert, but haven't been able to show anything on the scoreboard for it.
Quarterback sneak. They've converted on this once tonight, and the spot is right at the line to gain with Sam Meisenberg. Both sides pleading their case.
They might have to
Depends
bring
on
the
the
sticks
spot.
out for this.
Can't see the football from here. Where are they going to put this thing?
Oh, man.
First down. Okay. So the line to
Alrighty
gain,
then.
the line to gain was the hash mark right at the 46, and they put the football right there. So Meisenberg gets just enough on the sneak, and it's a first down for Prep.
And a little bit more joy for Prep fans. The power run game working quite well this game. Only problem is power run game doesn't help when there's 10:30 to go in the fourth quarter and you're down 26.
Yep, too little, too late. This time a play fake. Meisenberg on the roll, and the pass is hauled in by Thomas Leiden at midfield. Gain of 4 on the play. Nice secure catch on the low throw. Sets up a 2nd and 6.
And those short intermediate routes, like those 5-yard outs, those can be Prep's bread and butter if they're run correctly. And on that play, they were. Nice rollout by Meisenberg, good route by Leiden, and a good catch to finish off the play. Sets up 2nd down and 6 with 10 minutes to go in this football game.
Prep continues to roll with the I formation. Max Sanders still in at fullback. They'll toss behind him with Jack Stessman, and he's able to shrug off a tackle, sidestepping his way inside the 40, and he's got a Creighton Prep first down at the 39, gain of 11 on the play.
One thing that is good for Prep about being in this scenario and running the ball is that it shows them that their run offense can work if they establish it, especially with Stessman early and mix it up a little bit with the fullback dives. But the Prep run game is looking very solid. Maybe if it had looked solid 3 quarters ago, we'd still be in this game.
Meisenberg, nice throw on the run as he gets it to Alex Bullock, who has been extremely quiet tonight, taking it down to the 27-yard line as Bullock has come back to earth a bit after his incredible last 2 games. But he's got a first down here, gain of 12 on the play, and the Junior Jays move the chains.
And one of the issues with being a cornerback whose game relies on getting interceptions is that you can't get an interception if the other team rarely puts the ball in the air.
Hurry up offense. Here goes Jack Stessman. Right up the middle into the end zone. And Creighton Prep, just like that, find the end zone. And it's now 26-6 with 9:13 to go.
And Jack Stessman has had an incredible game so far. As we mentioned earlier, one of the few bright spots in that Creighton Prep offense. But he earned that touchdown. And if he and Cassiopo are both healthy, that's a nice two-headed monster for Prep in the backfield.
Yep, Stessman getting better and better as this game progresses. Now that might have something to do with Millard West pulling off a bit and expecting pass, not playing for the run as much, but still a nice night for Stessman, and he caps it off with his first touchdown of 2020.
And the speed for Stessman, even better when you consider he's still got another year to go with this program. By next year, he could be one of this team's leaders.
Pat Foley remains perfect on extra points this season, and it is now 26-7, 9:13 to go in the fourth quarter. So Stessman finds the end zone from 27 yards out. Just the second rushing score of the season for Creighton Prep, but a much-needed one to try and, if not come back into this game, salvage something positive out of this game.
9:13 to go for this game. And Braden Brow probably didn't expect to get this many reps, but he shows that Millard West still has a bright future as well.
And following this touchdown, we've been talking about the odd spectacle of Prep playing its home games at Westside. I don't know if I ever imagined myself hearing the white and the blue Prep's fight song being played over Westside speakers here at Phelps Field, but that's the case after the Jays score.
Maybe from the band, but the band isn't here.
Yeah.
And now Back in Black playing. Fitting considering Prep's uniform choice of the night. However, the uniform choice has not really helped put points on the scoreboard.
So 9:13 left. We'll see if Prep ever decides to go with an onside kick. They haven't tried an onside kick at all this year, but they'll kick from their own 40 with Pat Foley.
One of the issues might be with Pat Foley is he's just got such a powerful leg that it might go 15 instead of the needed 10, and that'd put an end to recovering.
Might go into the 15th row.
Although, who knows? Maybe Millard West learns lessons from the Falcons.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody watched that game and is ready to recover that onside kick instead of standing around and letting the opposition go get it like the Falcons did. So here's the kick from Foley. He's going to kick it deep. Strong kick. Look at that thing go halfway into the end zone for a touchback. So Millard West takes over at their own 20.
To be fair to the Falcons hands team, that ball looked like it was going to die after going 5 yards, and then it just took this incredible turn. So I guess props to Greg Zerline, the UNL alumni, I believe.
Yeah. So 1st and 10, Millard West now, leading by 19 points. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining in this game. And the Wildcats will begin at their own 20. Brady Brow still in at quarterback, and he has excelled since replacing the injured
Jacob Jones.
Yep. Split backfield, first down, handed off up the middle, and once again the Prep defense shuts it down. That's been an encouraging sign tonight, along with the success of the Prep run game, the success of their defensive line right in the trenches up the gut. So gain of only a yard, if anything, there.
And one thing to consider for Brow is that he's only a sophomore, and as you mentioned when he first came in, hadn't taken a snap at all this year. But he looks very comfortable running that offense. Even once Jones leaves after this year because he's a senior, Millard West will still have a very solid quarterback.
2nd and 9 at the 21. Prep showing pressure off the right side, and they're going to bring it. And they're going to get to the quarterback at the 20-yard line. So it was a designed run with Brow, but it ran right into traffic. Loss of a yard on the play. Now 3rd and 10 coming up, and Creighton Prep trying to get the defense off the field quickly, which is something they absolutely need to do at all costs if they want any chance to get back in this game.
It looked like it might have been a design run to our side, actually, but that was where all the Prep pressure was coming from. So Brow took one look at all that and just decided to run the other way, which is a sensible thing to do, I'd argue.
Yeah.
Especially against a defense that's really playing with nothing to lose right now as the clock ticks under 8 minutes to go.
Here's 3rd and 10. Split backfield. Prep showing pressure. They've got 6 on the defensive line. Moving to his left is Brow. Late pitch. This isn't going to get anywhere near the first down as spun out of bounds at the 17 is Peterson. So his rough night continues. It's a loss of 3 on the play, and it'll set up 4th and long.
And Sengstick, one of those prep defenders celebrating senior day outside linebacker, makes a great play. Gets right in the middle of Brow and his running back so that Brow can't really decide to make the play. So Brow elects to pitch it out late, and then Sengstick is able to use his speed and make the play. 4th and 14 now for Millard West, and looks like they are going to punt.
Yep. Jackson Newman will utilize that Aussie rules style of kicking, and the fair catch will be made at the 46 by Alex Bullock. So Prep takes over on the Millard West side of midfield, so a positive there. Short field to work with. We'll see if they can find the end zone quickly again, as they did on the last drive.
And especially considering how good Stessman looked and has looked basically all game, Millard West might be facing a pick your poison scenario if Meisenberg starts to throw the ball deep with regularity and success.
So 1st and 10 at the 47 of Millard West. Both teams, all 3 timeouts left. 7:38 to play in the fourth quarter.
Bullock split out wide in single coverage. As you mentioned, he's been quiet, but maybe Prep's going to look to him on this drive.
Roll to the right. Meisenberg.
Oh,
what
play.
a route. Bullock deep downfield. Oh, it's in and out of the hands. He had to try and make a turning around catch there as the throw was a little bit high and outside from Meisenberg, and Bullock just unable to reel it in. But that route, you called it right off the play, was incredible.
Does that count as an announcer, Jinx?
Oh, I don't know, but that was some kind of a route. It was
an
out
out and
route.
up.
Yeah, it was an out and up, and Creighton Prep loves to throw those out routes off the quarterback rollout. So Millard West bites on it, and there he goes down the field wide open.
Went to one of my brother's football games where he ran that exact same route on a 4th down play that they really needed, and he ended up making a diving catch. So, yeah, the out and up route, very successful if run properly. Oh, that's pass interference.
Tight coverage.
That's pass interference.
Well, it is.
Where's the laundry?
The referees beg to differ. Incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Refs ran out of flags in the first half, so now they're just waiting to get them back for the next game, and that sets up a 3rd down and 10 for Prep, and not a scenario we expected Prep to be in when we saw how wide open Bullock was on that 1st down throw.
So 3rd and 10 coming up. 7:26 to play in the 4th quarter. 19-point deficit for Creighton Prep.
Bullock still in single coverage. Rollins also on that side. Prep's got its 2 stars over there. Let's see if one of them can get open.
They're going to do a throwback, and that's an ugly play right there, as Stessman had a defender all over him.
And Meisenberg is down.
Oh,
Meisenberg is down.
Oh, boy. Meisenberg got hit after the play, so now both quarterbacks have been injured in this game as Meisenberg needs attention at the Creighton Prep 40.
And an interesting play call there by the Prep offensive coordinator. A throwback pass on 3rd down, broken up quite successfully by the Millard West defense.
Well, fortunately for Junior Jays fans, Meisenberg to his feet very, very quickly, and hopefully he's all right. We've already seen Jacob Jones, the Millard West quarterback, despite a phenomenal game tonight. He went down with an injury about halfway through the 3rd quarter and has not come back since. But now 4th and 10 coming up for Prep, and they're going to keep the offense on the field with Parker Lisey at quarterback, the sophomore transfer from Elkhorn South. He went 0 for 5 with an interception in the Westside game. He has not taken a snap since.
Hey, we've seen one sophomore be successful coming in on short notice. What about 2?
Lisey to his right, throws on the run. Oh, what a throw, down to the 30. So a nice successful start as he hooks up with Alex Bullock. That time the out route picks up 16 yards, and it'll be 1st down. So a nice opening throw from Lisey, who had some accuracy issues in that first game against Westside.
A beautiful throw, fits it right into Bullock's number, the number 3 on his chest, and very accurate throw, as you said. 7:18 to go, and Prep threatening again with the I formation, which they used with such success on the last drive.
And here is Max Sanders rumbling through the middle. Sanders to the outside. He's going to take it in for the touchdown. And the Junior Jays.
Dive.
The Junior Jays have scored on back-to-back possessions. Here they come with 7:11 to go. It's a 13-point game.
The fullback dive. We've seen it go for about 5 yards, and that's what I was thinking on that play. Like, oh, yeah, 5 yards for Sanders again. And Sanders stays on his feet, shows some surprising speed, gets to the outside and scores, and Prep has cut the deficit in half in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he broke some ankles there at the 10-yard line. How about the speed and elusiveness from the big boy?
And that's what you like to see.
They're going for 2.
For Prep and trying to cut this to...
Meisenberg's back.
Meisenberg is back in for the 2-point conversion.
Looking to throw, quick to the outside. Catch is made for the 2-point conversion. Looks like Alex Bullock.
And it is.
Go to All Reliable, and it's now 26-15 with 7:11 to go. So don't look now, but Creighton Prep's trying to climb back into this thing.
And that 2-point conversion important because now instead of a 2-touchdown game, it becomes a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and field goal game. So I believe I mentioned that back at halftime. Like, the game goes from touchdown and field goal to 2 touchdowns. Now that process is reversed.
Yep.
And that could be huge for Prep. And now might be the time you come out with the onside kick.
Yeah, and we've seen the Prep defense on a couple consecutive drives get quick stops, 3 and outs to get off the field, and then the offense feeds off of that momentum and scores quickly going back the other way. So if Creighton Prep can continue to do that, who knows what will happen.
The real issue is timing here. If we assume each drive takes 2 minutes, Prep's going to need 4 drives to take the lead in this game.
Yep.
But there's only 7 minutes to go, and if you do the math there, 4 times 2 is 8. We do not have 8 minutes.
Yeah, we have 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Both teams do have all 3 timeouts. That's important for Prep. One of the big themes we saw in the Lincoln Southeast game last night, Prep used 2 of their second half timeouts on 4th down and 2-point conversion decisions, so they didn't have any left when they needed to stop the clock late, but this time they do.
And by yesterday, you mean last week, right?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, okay, good.
Foley's kick sky high into the air and bouncing into the end zone for a touchback. So Millard West will take over at their own 20.
And one thing that would really help Prep here is a turnover. Obviously, Millard West not throwing the ball a lot, so Alex Bullock can't do too much in that department. But the defense has been getting penetration, so if they can hit the running backs hard enough and the ball gets free, who knows?
Yeah. Saw plenty of fumbles in last week's game, whether they were recovered defensively or not in the Lincoln Southeast game, but 1st and 10 at the 20. Prep trying to make an incredible comeback.
Showing pressure, too.
Moving left. Pitching.
And there's a flag.
Peterson. Flag is down, and it's a 2-yard game, but it likely going to come back as that flag is right near the line of scrimmage.
Looked like one of the linemen caught the flag. That's quite impressive.
Really? Yeah.
Because he was handing it back to the ref. And it is a hold. Huge for Prep. Not only does that stop the clock, it also sets Millard West back 10 yards at their own 10. Is Prep going to get a safety?
Who knows? I mean, a safety doesn't do that much.
It doesn't do anything at all, actually.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun.
Yeah. 2 safeties in the same game. When was the last time that happened in Class A football?
No,
who knows?
No one will know that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the last time that happened in an NFL game.
Yeah.
Or a college game.
Well, it'll be 1st and 20 from the 10. Now 7:04 to play in the 4th quarter.
And this is where the Braden Brow, the pretty inexperienced quarterback, might be forced to make a throw. And we know what Alex Bullock can do with 50-50 balls.
Brow is going to hand off right up the middle, and some nice powerful running there from Peterson, dragging a defender for about 8 yards. So 1st and 20 becomes 2nd and 12, and Millard West somewhat back to normalcy in terms of down and distance.
6:45 to go now as it's 2nd and 11. Clock is definitely a factor now. It probably has been since Millard West made it 26-0. But Prep obviously needs a stop probably right now to keep their hopes of winning this game alive, because an extended drive by Millard West, even with those timeouts, would probably spell doom.
Under 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Split backfield again. And movement up front. Which side is it on?
Looks like there might have been a
timeout. Was there a timeout? Oh, yep.
And a timeout Millard West.
Okay.
And that's pretty huge for how much the momentum has shifted. The fact that Millard West feels the need to call timeout on a 2nd down and 11 and stop the clock shows that Prep is maybe putting some fear in them.
Yeah. Maybe they went back and watched the game against Lincoln Southeast, and if they're fearful about Prep making a comeback, I mean,
time for the Aussie rules jump pass.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see, but I mean, Prep, going back to last year, they have a history of these comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
The Omaha North game to open the season last year, overtime win 24-21. The game against Millard North when they were down 30-10 in the fourth quarter, came back to win it 31-30. You got to see both those games. I didn't, but
well,
who knows? Maybe we'll see something today.
You probably got to see them, just not commenting.
Yeah.
But we're both here now,
yep.
and we both could be witnessing an incredible comeback. Remember, there's only 6:14 on the clock. Prep still has 3 timeouts. Millard West has 2, but that Prep needs 11 points to tie, 12 points to win. Split backfield again for Millard West, likely run play coming.
Following the timeout, 2nd and 11. It is a handoff and met head-on at the 22-yard line. There is Holtman. Gain of about 3 on the play, and here we go with a 3rd and 8.
So the clock situation becomes that it will likely hit about 5:30 by the time Millard West snaps the ball for this 3rd down and 8. So the question becomes whether Prep can either force Millard West out of bounds or maybe force an incompletion, because anything else, whether it's a 1st down or not for Millard West, if the clock remains running, Prep's probably going to have to burn a timeout.
3rd and 8, split backfield again. 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Rolling left. Oh, there's nothing there, and taken down immediately at the 15 is Brow, as a host of Creighton Prep defenders led by Max Sanders takes him down for a loss of 7, and the Junior Jays defense off the field quickly again. It's another 3 and out.
Prep.
Yep, so Prep will take their first time out, stopping the clock with 5:19 to go.
Mm-hmm. And Brow that's where the inexperience can come in. When you've got multiple guys rushing at you, and there's really nothing you can do. Takes a sack there, doesn't fumble, but Prep is clawing back into this game behind an offense that looks as good as I've seen all season, and a defense that is definitely the best I've seen all season, if you ignore the 26 points on the scoreboard. But
if you're just joining us, my name's Tyler Reedy alongside Brendan Preisman. About halfway through this fourth quarter, it's been an eventful game so far. Millard West scored 26 unanswered between the end of the first half and the third quarter to jump out to a 26-0 lead. But since then, Creighton Prep has countered with back-to-back touchdown drives and back-to-back defensive 3-and-outs to make it a 26-15 game, and now they're set to get the ball back with a punt.
I mean, you don't normally think of football as a game of runs, but this game definitely has been.
Yeah.
Millard West started off their run with that punt and safety just before halftime. Actually, they got 10 more points after that safety before halftime. And then a great third quarter to take a 26-0 lead. But so far in this fourth quarter, it's been all Prep, and now we've got a punter standing on his own goal line for Millard West with 5:19 to go.
YMCA blaring over the loudspeakers. Can Prep turn it into YMCAW? High snap. Oh, look out there as Newman barely gets it away. That one's going to go out of bounds inside the 30-yard. Well, it's going to bounce at the 36, so a friendly bounce, but that's still phenomenal field possession for Creighton Prep.
Looked like it might have been a block in the back on the punt. Wasn't called, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Prep with the shortest field they've had all night, 5:08 to go, and some panic starting to creep into this Millard West sideline maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you Prep has scored from, what was it, like
30?
30 and 27, I think, tonight. But they can easily score from this range, leaving 5 minutes on the clock in a one-possession game. I mean,
and those were both run plays, too. We haven't even seen Meisenberg throw the ball deep.
Yeah. Who knows?
Bullock and Rollins both one-on-one on the near side. Roll out right would be huge for Prep. Meisenberg can put the ball on the money. Oh, boy.
Joey Krawczyk, the right tackle, looked like he got going early. And that's a false start. So the senior right tackle with the false start backs Prep up to 1st and 15 at the 42, and penalties when you're trying to make a comeback must be avoided.
Doesn't look like it's going to change too much, though. Prep still in the same formation. Millard West on their still in their defensive formation, showing pressure. They do bring it.
Meisenberg, deep downfield. Bullock single coverage.
Oh, my!
Made the catch at the 13. Are you kidding me?
Alex Bullock, have yourself a pat on the back. Happy senior day to you, sir.
Wow. A 29-yard bomb from Meisenberg to Bullock, and he continues to stake his claim as team MVP a month into the season.
The reverse announcer jinx strikes again. Oh, maybe Meisenberg should throw the ball deep. Meisenberg threw the ball deep, boys. Let's go.
1st and 10 at the 14. Meisenberg to throw again. It's batted down again. We've seen that tonight several times. Incomplete. Now 2nd and 10 coming up. 4:45 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Better than a sack, though. The clock stops. 4:45 to go. Plenty of time for Prep. Already in the red zone again. This 4th quarter, they come out looking like a completely different team.
Yeah, much like last week.
Yep.
They're a second-half team. There's no doubt about it.
I wasn't there. You were, but
yeah.
I'm getting a very similar vibe.
Right up the middle. Stessman, nothing there, and that's going to keep the clock moving. Prep should hurry back to the line here as it's a gain of only a yard or 2.
And it does look like they're running in the no-huddle offense. Meisenberg and company looking to the sidelines for the play. Meisenberg gets it, walking back to the line slowly. Game clock probably going to be at about 4:15 by the time Prep snaps this ball. So if they can get a score here, that's almost a perfect scenario.
3rd and 9. Ball at the 13. 4:10 to go. Meisenberg rolling left. Pressure in his face. Throws to the end zone.
Touchdown!
Caught! A.J. Rollins.
No!
Oh, my goodness. It was taken away by Millard West at the 2. A devastating blow to Creighton Prep.
Oh.
Well, the officials are going to confer, though. The officials are going to confer, so hold your horse.
Touchdown!
What in the world? A touchdown!
What is going on?
A.J. Rollins, upon further discussion, has the touchdown from 13 yards
The
out.
birdcage is about to flood the field. What is happening?
It is a 5-point game with 4:08 to go in the 4th quarter. And
What a throw from Meisenberg. Oh, my goodness.
My.
The rollout are starting to work, and you and I both have criticized those both in the past. Calling them a little predictable and stale, especially on 3rd down and long. But the rollouts worked on that drive, that's for sure.
Prep with 21 unanswered. Can they make it 23 and make it a field goal deficit with the 2-point conversion?
Same formation as their last one.
Meisenberg.
Looking for Bullock. He's
Going
got
for
him.
Bullock.
Oh,
It's overthrown. He was wide open in the corner of the end zone, but just a bit too much air under it. So that means Prep will need a touchdown if they can get the football back.
However, needing a touchdown hasn't been a problem for them their last
Absolutely
3 drives.
Not. Yeah.
And now it's all up to the defense, but considering how the defense has been playing and how inspired they must be after this offensive performance, I'm not worried at all.
4:08 to go. Prep with 2 timeouts. Plenty of time for the Junior Jays defense, who has forced 3 consecutive 3-and-outs.
And this is looking kind of eerily like my score prediction.
What
I
was
said
it?
that the 4th quarter would be 24-21 Prep. I said
Okay.
the 4th quarter would be back and forth,
Yeah.
and that both great players on both teams would end up making plays. And I don't know.
I don't know. It's just got to be you and I on the. It's got to be you and I on the commentary. It's just like basketball season.
Yeah.
The opposing team gets a pretty
Like-
sizable lead at halftime, and Prep comes roaring back.
Like, if you don't see Brendan Preisman and Tyler Reed on the call, don't even bother tuning into the game. It's not going to be close.
Oh boy.
But you're going to get a game for the ages if we
Yeah.
are on the call, and that's what we have right now. Maybe now an onside kick for Foley?
No,
Please, I just want to see an
no.
onside kick. I just want an onside kick. Don't deprive me, please.
Not yet. Foley will put it in the air.
No. And another touchback.
Low line
No,
drive.
never mind.
Taken from the 3.
Millard West
This
has been
is
good in the return
Peterson,
game.
Nathan Peterson able to turn the corner across the 20, and he is run toward the sideline by Foley at the 31. So a couple times now we've seen Pat Foley make tackles on the sideline as the Millard West fan section comes up screaming for a late hit out of bounds, but no call.
Pat Foley maybe playing the most inspired football out of anyone on this team. Some great kicks. And that's not the first time he's run a guy out of bounds on a return. Kind of reminds me when Pat McAfee leveled a guy a couple of years ago, back when he was still playing.
Yeah.
So now the Prep defense, which has been playing incredibly since Q4 appeared on that scoreboard, gets another chance to get a stop. two timeouts remain for the Junior Jays.
1st and 10 at the 32 for Millard West. They continue to run the 2-back split formation. And they'll go to the outside. Nice cutback there from the quarterback, taking it to the 35-yard line.
That's Brow.
The quarterback, Brow. And that's a gain of about 3 yards. And
Prep will use their timeout, their second timeout. It makes sense, but you got to be careful with making sure that your defense can get the stop.
Yeah.
Because it's 2nd and 7. So if Millard West gets the first down and Prep's only got 1 timeout, the game might be as good as over.
So it'll be 2nd and 7 at the 30, well, 2nd and 6 at the 36-yard line.
And you got to be sending a lot of pressure here if you're Prep, because I don't think there's any way that Millard West would be willing to put the ball in the air here, especially with a quarterback who is seeing his first game action. I know we keep harping on that, but that's pretty important. And against a defense that's so good at taking the ball away.
Well, if you're still with us after what's been, a couple hours now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 hours now. If you're still with us, buckle up. I mean, this is going to be one heck of a finish. 2 top 10 teams playing true to their name.
Yep.
It'll be 2nd and 6 from the 36 for Millard West.
Both teams faced a lot of adversity this game, but both teams coming back out on the field to do battle once more. 2nd down and about 7. Here we go. 1 back set.
3:48 to go. And a whistle. They didn't turn the music off in time.
It's
hard to run a play while Kickstart My Heart is blaring over the loudspeakers.
Would there be a penalty for that? And if so, who would it be on?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy, Nathan Peterson able to turn it to the outside, and
Still
he's all the way
going.
across midfield inside the 40 of Creighton Prep, and there's the big run that Millard West has been struggling to find. Nathan Peterson delivers, big gain, and a first down at the Prep 39.
Great play by Peterson, but Prep smartly. No, never mind. There's the timeout. Wait, did they call timeout? No, they did not. They have not called timeout yet anyway, which I think is a pretty smart decision as the clock ticks under 3.5 minutes. There's still time here, but you need a stop. And again, this feels like the millionth time I said this. Preferably a turnover. Back to the 2-back set again for Millard West.
3:15 to go.
Just trying to hold on.
Here comes Brow, late pitch.
Oh, he got
Peterson trying to turn the corner, and
I think he's still in bounds.
He's able to get to the 35, and
3 minutes now.
Good call. Clock continues to roll. It'll be 2nd and 6.
And there is the timeout for Prep.
Timeout Creighton Prep. That is their final timeout. So with 2:58 to go in the 4th quarter, Prep now powerless to stop the clock from here on out. Millard West jumped out to a 26-0 lead going to the 4th quarter, but Creighton Prep has scored 21 unanswered in this quarter alone and made this thing a respectable ball game and an opportunity to come back and at the very least tie it, maybe even win it.
Yep. Well, how are they going to tie it? It's a 5-point deficit.
Millard West kicks a field goal, and Creighton Prep scores a touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Alternatively, terrible snap, like that Louisiana Tech game from a couple years ago, safety, field goal.
That's one way to do it.
Not going to happen, but it'd be cool.
We've seen a lot of crazy stuff tonight, though.
That's true. That's very true.
No doubt about it.
We've seen a backup quarterback look better than the guy he took over for, and also much, much worse.
Yeah.
So anything could happen, really.
Yep.
We're just along for the ride.
Absolutely, and we're glad you are, too. Those of you who have stuck around with us through this long
Incredible
evening.
game.
Yeah, it'll be 2nd and 6 at the 35 as these two teams break their huddles.
I feel like somebody should make a supercut of me, like, being real negative on Prep in the first half when they look bad, and then, like, 4th quarter rolls around and it's a close game again and I'm starting to be positive again. That'd be fun.
Yeah, they'd have a lot of games to choose from.
Yeah, that'd be, like, 3 hours long.
Yeah. All right, 2nd and 6. Millard West.
No timeouts.
Millard West no longer in that split back formation. Nathan Peterson is alone in the backfield.
And he had a big run to get us where we are right now. Prep's going to have to bottle him up to get the ball back.
2nd and 6. Press coverage. Bullock on Meyerstick at the bottom of the screen. Here goes Nathan Peterson. Nice cutback. And he's able to take it to the 31-yard line and set up
third and 2.
Yeah, third and about 2.5.
This could be the final defensive play. Actually, one of the 2 final defensive plays of the game for Prep if they play their cards right. But this is really the ball game right here. First down for Millard West, and it's all over.
And this is 4-down territory for sure for Millard West. If
No,
you don't get
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
especially if your guy's just an inch short of the first down marker. Just have Brow leap over the offensive line and end the ball game for you.
2 plays,
Still in shotgun.
3 yards to decide
Ball
Prep's
game.
fate in this ball game. Brow
Option
to the right,
again.
pitch to Peterson.
Ball!
He dropped the ball!
The ball
He
stopped!
dropped the ball! Creighton Prep has it! Going back the other way! Are you kidding me? It's a touchdown for Creighton Prep!
What is happening?
A 60-yard return, and Prep has taken the lead. Do you believe this?
Toby Okafor. My goodness. What?
27 unanswered.
I don't know what to say.
Oh my goodness.
And I mentioned this at halftime to talk about like how Millard West finally got on the board. Well, you know, Prep was just playing with fire, and eventually you're going to get burned. Millard West has been playing with fire, too, with all those fumbled option pitches, and it finally burns them in the most critical part of the game. I'm in shock.
I mean, the Junior Jays are about to pull off a 27 or 29-point fourth quarter.
Yep.
To erase this deficit. This is unbelievable.
Bullock one-on-one coverage, I formation, so Prep got their 2 strongest formations out there at once.
Sanders, did he get there? Yes! 2-point conversion good.
So now a field goal for Millard West will only tie it. 2 minutes to go, and Jacob Jones not in the game. That might be the difference.
I tell you what, after the last 10 minutes of game time in this, I got to pinch myself. This doesn't even feel real right now.
I mean, I've been pinching myself since that punt.
Yeah. 29-26 Creighton Prep. If only there was win probability calculations on these Class A games, what would it have been for Creighton Prep? 26-0 down going into the fourth quarter.
Okay, so
oh my.
I'm going to draw something that nobody's going to be able to see but you. So we start off like, about 50-50, and then right before the second half, it goes down to like 75% Millard West. And then right before the fourth quarter, it's like 98 Millard West, and now it's like 80 Prep.
Yeah.
Birdcage is starting to roam free.
Oh, boy.
The seniors have broken the cage wide open, and they are loving this atmosphere. Lot of quiet on this side of the field.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the conversation is like on this Millard West sideline right now. I mean, nobody, and I mean nobody could have seen this coming.
I have a guess what the conversation is, though. Probably something like, if the refs would call all those late hits on the sideline out of bounds, maybe our quarterback wouldn't be injured. That's a guess, though.
They've got to focus on what's ahead of them now. They need a field goal to tie this game, and they've got 2 minutes and 2 timeouts to do it.
Onside kick?
No. Why do you want this onside kick so badly?
I want to see an onside kick.
Pat Foley will put it in the sky, and it's going to be a touchback.
So 80 yards for Millard West to drive in 2 minutes to win this game. And Braden Brow, this is where, as a quarterback, you determine whether you can step up or not. This is kind of like the Tom Brady taking over for Drew Bledsoe in New England. Like, either the backup can handle it or he can't, and this is where you find out.
120 seconds to play.
A Prep defense that has allowed nothing except for one long Nathan Peterson run this entire quarter.
And Peterson, that costly fumble, returned 55, 60 yards for the touchdown by Creighton Prep. Here we go. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Wildcats. We'll go right back to Peterson, straight up the middle, and he is run over quickly after a gain of only 1.
And we just heard a fan scream, "Throw the ball." That seems like an appropriate thing to yell at this point in the game.
Yep. But the problem is they've been playing conservatively ever since Brow has been in the game. I don't know how many times they've thrown it. I could probably count on one hand.
Oh, for sure. I don't think they've thrown it at all, actually.
Yeah.
Because for all their third and long situations, including the one where Brow scored, They ended up running the ball.
That play took a lot of time off the clock. There's 1:25 to go here. 2nd and 9. Play fake. Here he is to throw. Bullock! Did he come up with it?
Intercepted! That's the game!
Intercepted by Bullock!
He did it again! Why? What?
Do you believe it? Alex Bullock with the pick at the 23. Disbelief on the Millard West sideline.
Oh, my goodness.
An unbridled elation on the Creighton Prep sideline at the 30-yard line. That is unreal.
I am so confused and so happy.
So 1st and 10 at the 24. Bullock with his 4th interception in the last 3 games and his 2nd interception in the last 3 games that
will save the game.
Maybe seals the game.
Yep. And now Prep, whose run game has looked very solid this second half, has 119 and only 2 Millard West timeouts to burn through before the ball game, and Millard West doesn't seem to some movement. And there's the handkerchiefs. Looks like the refs found them.
3 of them.
Yep.
Use it on.
And
delay a game.
Delay?
Okay.
What?
All right.
Interesting.
Delay of game against Prep.
So now the I formation, which has been very successful and led to 2 touchdowns of 25-plus yards for 2 separate players, is on the field again, and Prep just trying to burn some clock and get to 2-2 on the year.
Stessman straight forward. That picks up 5.
Timeout, Millard West.
Yep, Millard West uses their 2nd timeout of the half. They've got 1 remaining with 1:12 to go in the 4th quarter, trailing Creighton Prep by 3.
That makes it 2nd and 10.
Yep.
Oh, I am sorry. I think I might be allergic to calling Prep wins. No, I'm not.
Don't be. We're going to have to get rid of you if that's the case.
Oh, man.
2nd and 10 at the 24 as these 2 teams huddle up, and Millard West tries to figure out how they can stop Creighton Prep. The Junior Jays are 1st down away from completing one of the greatest comebacks in their history.
Oh, for sure. You know what I think is going to happen at school on Monday? Or no, when I go back to live?
What?
I think there are going to be people playing the clip where I go, takes it to the house, and that's where a lot of Prep fans are thinking about going right now.
Well, aren't
when
they
Millard
glad they
West
didn't?
Went up 25-0. And I mean, I'll be happy to eat my words.
Stessman.
Another 5 yards.
Straight ahead. That picks up 3.
Oh, we got some fighting going on.
Oh, do we? Oh, okay.
Looked like a little bit of
Tyler Jett, the defensive end of Millard West.
Involved with Max Sanders, the senior. A lot of extracurriculars going on this game involving blocking after the play. And Millard West burns their final timeout with 1:07 to go. 3rd and 7 for Prep. If they're able to get a stop, or force the running back out of bounds, this game is still within reason to win for them. If Foley kicks a field goal, that's still only 6 points.
Yeah. But no timeouts remaining, and Prep needs to get 7 yards out of this play to seal the deal on a win beyond belief.
Incredible performance from everyone. The defense took the 2nd and 3rd quarters off, came back with a vengeance. It's kind of like load management in a way, when you just let your star player rest for the regular season, bring him back in full force for the playoffs. And that's what the defense did. I don't know what the talk was at the end of the 3rd quarter, but whatever it was worked a treat.
All right. Millard West fate on the line right here. Toss on 3rd and 7. Stessman is not going to get the 1st down. The clock is going to roll, and Creighton Prep is going to have to kick a field goal with about 20 seconds to go. Unless they leave the offense on the field.
And they might, because theoretically what you could do is just run the ball, because even if you don't get the 1st down, that's still a lot of time wasted.
It's going to be 4th and 5. I think you have to kick it here. I really do.
You don't have to.
Yeah, but that's just an extra 25, 30 yards with very little time remaining. Yeah. We'll see what the decision is. 4th and 5, and the offense is staying out there. So they're 1st down away from icing this one.
And a flag.
Flag is down.
That stops the clock.
Oh, they took a delay of game.
Oh, so now they're going to kick.
Yeah, they're going.
That's a very smart play by the Prep offense there. Take as much time off the clock as you can, because really 5 yards moving from the 19 to the 24, that's not even a dent in Pat Foley's range. He could hit this in his sleep.
Yep, he is 2 for 2 on field goals this year. Made both of them in the Papillion La Vista game. As long as 37 this year.
And Foley's still not out there.
Oh, really?
No, it looks like the offense is just going to do their thing.
4th and 10.
Split back formation.
Eisenberg wants to throw. He's just going to float it up to the end zone. That's a smart play. Bullock's got it. Game over. Alex Bullock makes the catch at the 5, and Creighton Prep is going to come away with the win.
I don't know what Alex Bullock ate for dinner this evening, but I would love to have some right now. Incredible performance from Creighton Prep in the 4th quarter. You said they were a second-half team. They proved it today.
I think that was an understatement.
As the clock ticks out, 5 seconds to go, Creighton Prep with one of the most improbable victories I have ever seen. 29-26, Creighton Prep wins.
A comeback for the ages at Phelps Field at Westside. And the Creighton Prep home opener, the Creighton Prep senior night, ends on a remarkable note with the Junior Jays scoring 29 unanswered in the 4th quarter alone. The Millard West fans and players leave in utter disbelief.
I'd be in utter disbelief too. In fact, I was rooting for the Junior Jays, and I think I'm in utter disbelief. How in the world did Prep come back from this?
And I mentioned at the very beginning of the broadcast that this game could be really a turning point for both these two teams' seasons, as the schedules really lighten up from here on out, and they can get hot. And Creighton Prep utilized that turning point with an amazing victory, just beyond words.
Some heart medication might be in order for any Prep fans who stuck it out through the whole game. I don't blame them. Take it with a celebratory drink of your choice.
Well, we thank you for joining us tonight. If you stayed through all 3 hours of it, you are awesome. And you got to see an awesome game tonight between Creighton Prep and Millard West. For Brendan Prizeman, I am Tyler Reedy saying good night.